Go live.
We are going live in 5, 4.
We're live.
God damn it, I was counting down.
All right.
I was going to froze that shit. Bring out the clone!
Well, now that we're live, before we start, I would like to apologize for the late start today, but El Paso traffic sometimes is a bitch.
And by sometimes, we mean all the time.
I spent over an hour in traffic myself because everybody had the exact same idea that I did to avoid traffic.
Yeah, don't they? You know, ironically, it cleared up like 5 minutes after I called you.
Yeah. I believe it, but nobody saw that. Everybody saw like that it was bad and that was it. Let's clear off anything off the table that we can clear, like we can pull the tape away. If anybody needs, you need a dry erase, right? Oh, you got it? Everybody got everything that they need?
D&D Beyond is awesome.
Yes, D&D Beyond is awesome. By the way,
David, you take my breath.
I do. I put in there all the unique magic items, and I already put them on characters that need them. A few things I didn't do, like I didn't update because it's just a
well, now you need to, because now I can't remember the words. Now I need, never mind, hit back.
Purple.
Huh?
Purple.
No, it's not the right words.
Orange.
But if you guys need anything else, remind me, so that way I can do it. But if it's on your character sheet, you guys can simply go to the equipment tab and add it yourself.
Yep.
If it's already in there, I don't need to do that for you. You guys can do that yourselves. Okay.
Yep.
I don't need to worry about that. But make sure that you guys update your list, like your cloak of protection you gave to him, right?
Yeah.
So we need to remove it off of
Already
you.
taken care of.
Make sure you guys have all of your attunements correct. Remember, you only have 3 attunable items, so make sure everybody's are correct, that all your stats are done. I already fixed yours, so you're good. I already fixed Triswin's, so she's good. You already had the Staff of Power in there, so I don't know how to do that, but I did add the staff to Valis. So yeah, I'm loving D&D Beyond. Absolutely loving it. It's working out really well. We still got it here for a few more months before we got to pay like another $40 for another year. So
I'll kick in for that.
Yeah.
This shit makes my life easy.
it makes my life easy too. Very, very easy. I just need to update it with all the new books that have come out. Okay. So we're gonna go full live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone and welcome to Dice and Dudes. Sorry for the late start, but we're all here once again, brought to you by Military Gamer Supply, who we greatly appreciate giving us the space and the internet and everything we need to get on here and
They also
stream our D&D. Yep, and our Nick is here because of this place. Do we have any announcements for Military Gamer Supply?
Alright guys, we've got a 40K tournament coming up next weekend on February 2nd. It's the last chance RTT. Come get the practice you need for Vegas or have a great time. Spreading out the prize support to the lower brackets and giving out sportsmanship and painting this time. Friday Night Magic every Friday night. Commander on Wednesdays and Fridays.
We're also having a booster draft on Friday.
Booster draft on Friday. Standard on Saturday. And Modern on Sunday? Or do I have that backwards?
Modern on Sunday, and then Commander's also on Friday.
So,
and Saturday.
Commander, Friday, Saturday, whenever you want to come play some Commander. If there's a pod, they'll kick it off. Open gaming for pretty much any game you can put on a tabletop. Any day that ends in Y.
Alright. You guys let me know if they decide to kick out like a kill team or Necromunda thing, because I may want to try to sit in for that and run the game a little bit. I got an itch for some miniature gaming.
There's an Age of Sigmar league going on right now, and we'll put out the word for a kill team league.
Yeah, let me know about those. Age of Sigmar doesn't really scratch my itch as well as I thought it would. Played a couple of games, but not really my bag. You know what?
But I got the models. I haven't played kill team yet. We'll get some done.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll give that a shot.
If you want to get in on the Age of Sigmar League, talk to Ignacio Santana. He is the employee working here at MGS from 6 to midnight, Monday to Thursday. He's the head of it.
Okay.
He's the pretty one. Not really.
I was going to say, the pretty one is sitting at our table.
Yeah, I know I'm here, but I don't work for the store. Don't touch the bulbs!
Hey, hashtag me too. Okay, any other announcements that anybody has? Anybody got any voice acting jobs, starring in any movies that we didn't need to know about? You guys are headed to Vegas still, right?
We are headed to Vegas.
All right, so we'll be working our schedule out with that. We'll see what happens. We shouldn't miss a game, but
Not at
just
all.
in case, you know.
Taking off Thursday, coming back Tuesday.
We'll see if we can get some of their stuff either periscoped in on Twitter or maybe just...
I'll shoot Kyle some clips. He can upload them to Dyson Dudes.
Yeah, that way you guys can see some... You know, we got some other gaming that we can do and show you guys. We actually just had a very successful Twilight Imperium 4 game. 6 players. I did not win, even though it was my birthday. I was halted in that, and Rob Householder won, so congratulations to him. Next time, though, we may see if we can try to stream that, or at least stream highlights of it, you know, because that was about a 4-hour, 15-minute game. But I think that was interesting with all the political intrigue and the back and forth and everything that was happening and all the deals being made. That was solidly interesting.
I didn't come in last this time.
No, you did not.
Second to last?
No, actually. No, well, technically, he tied for... It was anybody's. At that point, it was either between me, Nathan, and Rob for who was going to win. And since Rob got Imperial, that's how Rob won. If it wasn't for that, if I'd managed to hold on to the Imperial strategy, I would have won. But we'll try to get some of the gaming and stuff like that, you know, on here, so that way you guys can see we don't just do D&D. I may be starting to get a very short, low-level campaign, probably 5 or 6 game sessions long, new characters, probably about 2nd or 3rd level, with some brand new terrain that I've been working on. It'll be a very much a themed game, and it'll be designed around all the work that I've put into the current sets. So I may be doing that just to try to get more word out there for David's Tiles and Terrain and show people what I can do. I love making terrain for this campaign, but sometimes I can't really do a whole lot ahead of time because don't know where you crazy bastards are going to go.
I know where I'm going.
I mean, to be fair, you guys can go pretty much anywhere you want. And that's my fault as the DM for letting you guys have that kind of choice. So it limits my options sometimes. But with a this low-level little mini 5 or 6 game session campaign, every game session will have a lot of terrain and a lot of miniature stuff. We'll get some camera stuff worked out before I implement that because I want to get some very good shots of what's happening on there to really showcase the story and the terrain itself, because the terrain is actually going to tell part of the story. So that's putting in a lot of work on that. But other than that, I think that's all of our announcements for today. Don't mean to bore you guys. Already got a late start, so don't want to push it anymore. So we're going to go ahead and start with our recap of what happened last time on Dice and Dudes. Last time, after receiving word, Thundergut had asked your all's help in order to head back to his home, or he would need to leave the group to head back as soon as possible, traveling traditionally. You all decided that it would be more important to keep him with the group and have him fight Neopkis and the whore that he had unleashed. Deciding to teleport to his home in the Moorholds later on in Chroma Peak. He stayed. You all treated with Oleon, the ancient awakened tree, and Flynn was given the gift, the touch of Oleon, and now has a brand spanking new ability that he has access to.
But I have no idea what you're talking about.
After using that ability to pinpoint the location of the observatory they had been looking for the last 5 game sessions, they teleported in and discovered that their enemy, Neopkis, was there, along with the Sakura Quadi that he had unleashed. After a very intense fight that left a few people nearly dead, they all managed to pull through and slay the Quarry and Neopkis.
Better than usual.
And then discovered a imprisoned Fey-like creature that turned out to be Neopkis himself, the original. After a brief history, they learned that Neopkis had cloned himself, then the clone itself had been corrupted and convinced to clone itself many more times. So Neopkis may become a recurring enemy. After freeing him, he gratefully kept his part of the deal, not only using the observatory, allowing Flynn to not take the risk of destroying his own mind in the attempt, and cured our resident ranger of his debilitating sickness that was growing steadily worse. Now, color has returned to him. He seems to have gained 20 pounds in a matter of an instant and has much more color in his cheeks and feels quite a bit better, feeling much more as he didn't realize just how bad and weak he was feeling.
I'm realizing it's very cold.
And discovering a hoard, a veritable hoard of magical items and money within the observatory that was gratefully given to them by Olean for their efforts in protecting it. Now, after using the observatory, they stand at a different location, somewhere in Onder, that Valis, the wizard, recognizes as the cliffs where he initially discovered an observatory himself. Though, according to Olean, there is but a single observatory, though it can travel through space and time. And that is where we begin. With you now standing still within the observatory, the opaque walls now, the clear walls now becoming opaque and matching the surrounding terrain, once again hiding the observatory from sight.
Have we finished collecting everything?
At this point you have.
Even the books?
There is enough books in here that they could fill all of your guys' bags of holding, and there would still be books left over.
Even the good books?
They're all, well, it depends on your, what are you looking for? Because they're all good books. They're all repositories of knowledge. These aren't just random, like, cookbooks and stuff, you know? Yeah.
Can I search for a good book?
You can.
Okay. Investigation.
Yes, sir.
Damn it. 5.
3 by 3, cooking for any
You
element.
kind of peruse a lot of the spines. You just kind of skip over any of the books that don't have words on them. And the ones that do, none of them seem to be related to cooking.
Okay.
Based on your investigation check the last time, most of these are, some of them are bestiaries that are dedicated to a single type of monster. I mean, we're talking 400 or 500 pages of lore, of theories, of, anatomy, all this. Some creatures that haven't been seen for 1,000 years. I mean, this is a great repository of knowledge. Just depends on how you wish to use it. But there is enough here that you would have trouble filling your library in the guild hall with this information. That is how many books are here. A total of 12 bookcases, completely filled to the brim.
Focusing on
which are the good books and which are the bad books.
Focusing on arcane knowledge.
You asked the pain? Oh, books aren't really my thing, you know. And he kind of raises his hands. You know, can't really hold them.
And last time I checked, I was
Focused on arcane research and knowledge. and stuff.
A lot of this is, well, narrow that a little bit, because, I mean, the bestiaries could be considered arcane
No
with a lot of these
bestiaries,
creatures.
actual magical effects and
Okay.
crafting and stuff.
You can find, let me flip through my notes here. I actually took the time to write all of this crap down.
And that's why we like
my
it.
life.
Okay, for general arcane stuff, not including bestiaries, you're looking at about 65 tomes, at about 20 pounds a piece.
Into the hole!
You guys are getting fairly close to filling up. You have a haversack. Valis has a haversack. Trisman has the bag of holding, and somebody else has a bag of holding, correct?
I don't think we could open up.
Oh, no, that was it. The haversack was it. So you guys are getting pretty close to your load out. You guys actually putting it into your actual backpacks now.
Start loading the truck up.
Did I ever wake up?
Yeah, you woke up. The time that you guys spent categorizing this place and collecting up all the stuff and deciding what you're going to take was a long's rest worth of time.
Do we get the benefit of it or no?
No, because you guys are literally gathering everything up. The only one who gets the benefit of that is Perry, who is asleep that entire time. No, not yet. Because you guys literally rested, teleported, and then went into the fight. So this is like, it's about 8 or 9 hours that you guys are just working on this place. On top of the 4 hours that you guys spent in the fight, and then the wheeling and dealing with Neopkis and everything else. It's nighttime now, but it's not, you guys aren't exhausted.
Why don't you throw an investigation check? I rolled a 17 plus 5 on anything dealing with like Zoriat, where my patron's from, like the.
Oh, there's
he's
a
looking for
ton of lore
He's looking for the Lovecraft books.
Yeah, there's a ton of lore on Zoriat. There's a ton of lore on the seals. There's a ton of lore on the Dreamscape. I mean, there's a ton of lore on all that stuff. Extra-worldly threats, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff falls into the arcane that he was asking
a little bit
about.
more refined into the greater beings.
Most of the greater being, well, you'll have that'll take research if you want to do, but he can pretty much through those hours of work kind of sort through the books you guys want to take. And since you guys are on an extraplanar adventure kind of thing, I figure that's a lot of your guys' focus. So in that 65 tomes, a lot of that's in there. And that's about the majority that you guys are going to be able to take.
Why don't we just throw it all into the guild hall?
Do we want to open it in here, or do we wait to go outside?
Well, this is kind of like putting an extra-dimensional space inside of an extra-dimensional space.
Yeah,
Oh.
bad idea.
So take it outside, open it up, and then we just haul everything into there.
And if the door doesn't come down again?
We can't get back in.
Well, at least we know where everything is.
I thought we had left the door to the holes.
We didn't.
Okay. You guys are still carrying it with you. Though upon the advice of Liamond, he suggested the next time you guys lay it up, you get ready for it to be permanent. He kind of insinuated that the magic that powers the place is directly attached to his own lifespan, and since he thinks he's going to die anytime.
So if we take it where we want it to stay.
This is a nice place.
Stop trying to create black holes.
Yeah, this is a cliff.
I had thought we landed in on.
This is
On
a
there.
nice place.
I thought we landed in Harlem.
Just came back to
No, you guys are in Onder.
I love to feel black holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, brown ones,
And?
pink ones, and white ones. And...
That's like I
Well,
just
you're right.
stabbed
This
the
isn't
first
such a
time.
bad place, and
Yeah, but why don't we put it up in that city of the lady who
This is
vampire
what
level?
I should have brought the big map. That's okay. Oh, by the way,
Carlacted,
brought
yes,
that.
that's the one.
I brought that for you because I know you have your spells like on the side.
Carlacted.
well, no, the thing is, you use that in reference to me.
Yeah, all of you like said vampire, the lady that loves the vampires.
She's there. She's a thing. She's nice. If gave us info.
Hey Fled, since he's fixed now, I think he should be a priest, like sign his sea vow and everything, so he doesn't get stabbed again.
That's not gonna stop.
Valus can
Last time
tell
he got
you.
penetrated, he got
Valus can
cursed.
tell you guys that you guys are currently residing within the Star Peaks. Literally one of the only mountain ranges within Onder. The closest city to you is Askelios.
Hard to get to.
From down here, the Star Peaks, it's relatively uninhabited. It's still pretty much nature has become it, which is why the observatory is here. Getting to where you guys currently are is a hard climb. Getting up is a hell of a lot harder than getting down.
Yeah, but if I put the door up here, it would be
Way out of the way. It would be very out of the way.
relatively safe.
You would be placing it on a relatively barren peak, rocky peaks. That, depending on the size of the guild hall, that if you guys can judge it, would be fairly easy to see from miles off.
And suddenly there's a building there.
Yeah, literally. You guys have like a 6-story keep, basically. I mean, it's a large structure.
Well, that's 4 stories, and they're all 20 feet tall. So.
Yeah.
So this is not a good place to put it.
I mean, it's out of the way. It's hard to get to, but it would probably draw attention. But, I mean, hard as hell to get to, so...
Let's put it down in the forest, on the foothills.
I think we should think about it a little more.
Yeah, we tabled the discussion. Besides, we can always come back and get some books.
Yeah, considering how mobile this thing is, we have no idea how long that time is.
Or if it happens to exist on the next day, or if it just, I don't know.
It's very complicated,
Well,
but
you can teleport us back here.
yeah, that's the point.
Hey,
So we rest, we go, we have the books we need. If we need to know about the ancient dodo, then we come find the book. It's a semi-retarded bird, it reminds me of you.
Real quick,
I feel pretty well listed.
everybody go to roll me a perception check, but with disadvantage.
You've
please.
been a walking corpse for the past couple of days.
Ah!
And it's literally that feeling of you don't realize how bad you were feeling until you started feeling
that's
better.
2 4s.
Just call them out.
So a natural one doesn't count, right?
You rolled 2, right?
Fun times.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1? Well, no, but a 1 and a 1, yeah. So that's
Oh,
a
1
fail.
and 17, yeah, okay. So that'd be a 10?
Mine's all.
I got a 10 as
Mine's
well.
12.
15.
Just pulling up my stats. 20.
20? And you,
Yeah.
Tech?
It's all
Don't call me skinny.
It's hard to tell. I mean, from where you guys are at, literally what this turned into basically one of the peaks itself. That it looks like this belonged here, but I mean, if it wasn't here, it would just look like a natural outcropping of rock. The area around you can easily see off in the distance just the fair bit of the tops of trees from where a forest starts, and you can see to the south of you there is a large plain, just huge plain. You can tell, you can barely make out these light blue stones that interrupt the plain, almost butting straight up against the Star Peak Mountains. You would recognize it as the lightning rail.
Yeah, this is in view of the lightning rail. This is not a good place for this.
I turn the painting
If we can
around
get it as
so
a
he can
stop, it'd be a
see.
great place just to get
Oh, you take
get
him.
off
You
it.
literally take him outside.
Mhm.
Uh,
No.
he. On there. It's been a while, but I like it. Good wine, from what I hear.
Yeah, it didn't have much.
So, we ready to go, yeah.
I
We take a nap so I can cast a spell, and then we go to the forest to find my raptor. That was promised.
I promised you that, don't worry.
And then we go to the Moorholds.
But wasn't your raptor released in the?
No, we're going to get the raptor first. And it was towards that
The
camp.
place that we just came from.
Yes.
Yeah,
Towards the forward base.
Okay.
I have a bit more of a connection with the trees now.
Yeah.
Oh, you and I might be more alike than you want to believe now.
No,
You shouldn't.
not
It,
even.
it's gone. It's the moment is gone. Let's go. Too late. Then to find the raptor.
You all can easily sleep in here without the need of a watch. I mean,
It's okay, I'll take the watch.
the magic in this place is somewhat illusory, but somewhat transitory. Is the outside of this feels like rock. I mean, where it's not. It's definitely not. It's just some kind of opaque illusion, but definitely it feels and acts like rock. So if something didn't know exactly where the entrance was and know the exact ritual in order to get in, the exact way to open the door, I mean,
Nothing would happen.
nothing's gonna happen. Nothing,
Unless
no one can really chance on something like this.
Do we know the ritual to open the door?
Yes.
He does.
Okay.
And the door itself, you guys have noticed, was broken down when you all got here. After it teleported, the door was repaired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after we rest, I'll land just as close to the last places I.
You know there's 2 ley lines that are the easiest to follow.
Okay.
You can follow the one near the grove, where you all teleported from, within Greenheart. And there's the one that you have been coming to, that same ley line that attaches to that graveyard.
Which one lands closest to
The graveyard.
The grave.
The graveyard is closer to the camp itself.
Land there.
Okay. Now, that ley line does not connect to this one. So you're trying to connect two of these lines
Force it
together. So you're trying to force it through. So
20
after you all take a rest for the night.
Oh, actually, you know what? We should, if we go back to Greenheart, be saying take some of the wardens of the wood back up. I promised I would. Now that things have cleared out.
Well,
Later.
They must be able to help us find your raptor. If they don't get eaten first.
The raptor.
And then there's all this bitching about why did your pet eat my friend? No. We go.
It would make more sense. I did give them a promise.
Do
And
you
you know
mind
that-
if we take 2 jumps to pick up his friends? It'd be a day and a half, 2 days before we get to.
Well, that's
More holes.
that's much quicker than me riding Hamish to the
How
more
long was it
holes. So
from Greenheart up
Because
to
literally, if you were
that's
riding
months.
Hamish, well, not it's weeks.
We'd have to ride him to light
Yeah.
rail.
Yeah, you would basically ride him to the lightning rail, take the lightning rail up because it's much faster. But even with that, you're still looking at it would have taken you at least another 10 to 12 days to get to the more holds, not to Chroma Peak.
Okay.
So I mean, it's still with the teleportation match, you're cutting down the travel time.
Is there a circle in the more holes?
teleport.
There is, but that's controlled by
Is there a
House
circle I
Orion.
can use in the more
No,
holes?
the House
Well-
Orion is the one who has the circle.
how long of a
we
trip was it
paid
from
for the
Greenheart
one
up to-
in.
Yeah, but you guys paid to actually teleport from one House Orion enclave to another.
Yeah, but I shelled out 10,000 gold for.
No, he bribed for the code to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that code only lasts for the month.
Oh.
Yeah, the runic House Orion, they change the runic symbols on those every month. And if you want full access, they charge the money and you have
Okay.
it until they change it. You can pay House Orion to teleport you, or you can use your teleportation to attempt to
I
get
was
as
just
close
wondering because
as
I
you've
could
been
get there quicker.
How many
Yeah.
people can
If
you
I was a
teleport?
circle.
Up
7,
to 8 others.
8, including myself.
No, it's 8 more. 2
Little
and 8
point
others.
in teleporting 3 rangers?
Yeah, there's not much point. I only take 3 with me.
Well, how long of a trip was it from Greenheart up there?
Through the woods, you're looking at 3 days.
3 days? We can't take 3 days?
No. We gave Rotmeow a
True. How about this? I go to Greenheart and take a detachment up, like I said I would. Start switching from that side down, and you start switching from the other side up.
Yeah, how exactly you go to Green Hunt? You grow fairy wings and fly?
I don't know. Can you teleport?
Me, yeah.
Oh,
You come with me or you don't.
it's a long walk. Aye. Okay, we'll go there, and then after we find a raptor, I'll walk down to Greenheart and bring him back. While you would,
Then how do you get to the more holes?
I'll find a way.
You gave Rotmeow your bird.
Oh.
You can always come back for the ranges. It's not like the seals are in danger at the moment. And it's not like they can't
Well,
walk up to the
We
rune
did
and
put
catch
down the most active danger to the seals.
Yeah, but you are looking at the last 2 gatekeepers left.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be fine though. 'Cause we
And
killed
at
everything
least
that
need
was
to
killed.
at least put that area in a good position before I go off on another adventure for a little while.
We killed everything that was fucking killing them. They're gonna be fine.
Right. So if we go to Green Hunt, does that waste an entire another day? And Rotmeow can't wait that long.
Well, that's up to
I've
Ron.
not seen him. He's getting more and more angry.
That's up to Ron.
It's your decision. If you want to go to Green Hunt, I leave the rest of you there and take him and 7 rangers up north. 7 should be able to not die. You know, probably. Maybe not.
Figure they'll all probably get stabbed by a Raksasha.
I pull out the summon, or no, this was a message spell.
This was a sending spell that was sent directly to you from House Orion, care of
Who was
Kundarak.
Cinder?
Your mother. Your mother was the writer of the letter, but the sender was it's a missive from House Orion, a sending spell, which you were allowed to respond to. You gave them your location, told them you were in the Elding Reaches, and you would make your way as soon as possible. You didn't give them a way of how you were getting that way, and if you figure in travel time, I mean, at this point, if you had left Greenheart to get to the Lightning Rail, you would still have days before you reach a Lightning Rail where you could actually get on. Because the Lightning Rail does not run through the Elding Reaches.
But
You would have been heading to Passage to do that.
And there was quite a bit of severity in the message.
Yes. It was worded in a way that is make your way as soon as possible.
Okay.
But again, teleportation isn't a common thing, especially within Eberron. Low-level magic, super common. Things like teleportation spells that individuals know, very uncommon. I mean, he's surpassed any of the enclaves of House Orion at this point, because all they know is teleportation circle.
So if we go to Greenheart,
we had 2 days to the trip.
Well, and then the amount of time that's going to take to find your raptor,
Shouldn't take
Carver. It'd probably take about a day or two. I mean, about the amount of time that it'd take us to walk up there anyway. We'd probably find her on the walk.
I believe I put the power in the Indie Beyond. I believe I did. That was on my list.
So the question is, how much time do you have? And if you don't have much time, I don't think we can even do either of those. We'd have to go straight there right now.
well, if you guys need to find Akushla and help the wardens, I can just ride down to the nearest
It's not in here.
Thunder Rail.
Which, from where you guys currently are, is in Fairhaven, which would be the closest place to get on it. Because you cannot get on there are no stops on the Lightning Rail between locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even Askelios, the Lightning Rail is about 10 miles south of Askelios.
And we'd still probably beat you there.
Yeah.
Via is the quickest way. Whether or not you take the time is up to you.
Well, you guys figure it out, and if it's quicker than what I can do, then I'll go with you.
I guarantee anything we do is quicker than what you can do. It takes a week to get to Passage, maybe more.
Well, to Fairhaven from here, I mean, you're looking at, unless you can grab a hold of a speeding Lightning Rail and take a ride.
You made commitments to the wardens.
They're kind of lost without me right now.
Well, the wardens are not. The
wardens not.
gatekeepers have been.
Decimated.
This isn't just the encampment being lost. This is on top of literally over 100 of them over the last few years have just been dying. Some in their sleep, some have been walking the forest and never returning. Like the gatekeepers, specifically within the Towering Wood, have been targeted. Most likely by Neopkis this entire time. Like,
Yes, this
slowly killing them off.
This is Corvair business, and it trumps House Kundarak, so I'm in.
Alright, Vigo.
Alright.
Okay, so you all are going to spend the night to rest so you can get your spell slot back?
Yep.
You only have one 7th-level spell slot, right? Yeah. Okay. So,
I can't sleep because,
You know,
you can rest again.
Next
But
level.
I mean, you have a lot of books here all of a sudden, too. I mean, you can pass the night if you wish. But again, you finally do feel better, and those nightmares you kept having, that rest that you got is the first time you haven't had a nightmare revolving around her since you came back.
It's a good thing we
the
came
same
to a
kind of
decision.
nightmare that I had up there in.
You've been having those every time you sleep.
It's a good thing that we came to a decision because you don't need to be by yourself.
Yes.
Say that
You have
again.
a Rakshasa.
Every time he sleeps, he's been having the same kind of nightmare.
And unlike you,
because his soul is
unlike
now
me, he
one.
can find you.
Yeah.
Now that his malady has been cleansed,
No, we can't.
he seems to be resting peacefully now.
Oh,
Those,
so it's not happening
it's
now.
not happening now.
Can't you find
It was happening for, well, you missed a few of those sessions, but he had some very vivid dreams that
There
were
we go.
nightmares and were very creepy and actually physically creeped out him as a player. So I was very proud of myself for that.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
I came back with her name.
You might be able to. I
So-
don't know.
Maybe in a few months I have a special way to deal with it. Not at the moment. So,
What was her name?
teleports to Greenheart.
Before you cast a spell, where exactly are we going to pop into existence?
That's up to you.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
I've got the name.
You
Actually,
gotta pop them right in
Thunder
front of the
Guts
tree.
asking
Sounds like a
for-
bad idea to me.
We'll land right at the bar.
Which one? Oh, you mean it
The only
within
bar.
Chroma Peak?
No, the one with the bathtubs.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean, okay, you mean in Greenheart.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you'll arrive at the Grove. That's where the ley line is strongest.
Oh, so I'll just bounce into the grove.
Yeah,
So-
that's it. I mean, you can, but it just increases the DC. Like, you're trying to keep, like,
I
in
mean,
mechanical terms, the DC starts at 10
and increases.
and then increases from there. Yeah.
So
22.
we're like, is that right near Olean?
Oh, yeah, that's literally in his grove. That grove, that's why he decided to go from there. When he did his sensory, which was much stronger when he was with Olean, like literally the entire Eldeen reaches he saw for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
If he had the mental capacity to retain that, he would basically know where every twig and root was in all of the Eldeen reaches. That's how powerful Olean's sight is. But with his own mind, he can basically sense up to 10 miles in every direction of like very vague kind of, sensory things. But when he was within the grove, he could sense all of that, and the grove itself is directly linked to one of the ley lines. That very powerful ley line, which is what he tapped into to teleport you guys directly to the observatory.
So, is there any way to send them a message like, "Hey, we're going to be teleporting"?
Don't
No
worry
one,
about
no
it.
one has the sending spell.
Yeah, but it's Grove of Olean. They've got security.
Yeah, and I could kill all of them.
Do you really want
We
to
could
try?
kill all of them, but I just don't want a fight before we try
They
to.
won't fight with us.
What
They're prepared for this kind of thing, trust me.
are you planning on doing again?
Nothing. Rotman is worrying.
He's worrying about unnecessary things.
I would say being cautious.
What's the worst that happens? A Rakshasha stabs you in the kidney again?
Hey, I'll stab him.
Well, this time she's getting impaled with a spear.
No, she went for the kidney. It was the larger target.
Oh, yeah.
And are we traveling straight from there?
We rest for a few hours and then, yeah. As soon as
you
I...
have to muster,
I'm done.
you have to muster people to go to that camp, so.
Yeah, you have 8 hours to muster people.
Yeah, I'll be going to talk to, man, I wrote down his name.
Well, you have 8 hours on 8 and a quarter hours. Let me know when I'm marking.
Yep, give me 1 second. I'm trying to help him out real fast. No, I already have it right here. It's just on the other page. You'd go to Gorinth. You'd speak with Gorinth.
Yeah.
Okay, as you all begin to bed down for the night, rolling out your sleeping bags and sleeping in the very secure safety of the observatory itself, you finding it hard to find sleep as you just slept the deepest, greatest sleep that you've had in months without waking up every few hours from nightmares. Find it hard to go to sleep. Roll me a perception check, please.
Always.
Just
I can put him to sleep.
stupid.
Hey.
12.
Okay. Raka, you know, for a very long time, since you were probably in your 20s, you don't dream. You don't really sleep. You're able to perpetually stay up, and you just, as long as you don't exert yourself too much, you rest. And you rest very, very well. While you rest, close your eyes, you meditate, you think about the information you just received and how the words that Neopkis said to you hit you to your core. You feel a presence watching. When you open your eyes, you see in the shadows above you, on the second level of the observatory, a man stands there, cloaked in shadow. The only definite thing that you can make out is his aquamarine colored eyes, 3 of them, and a strange motion happening at his side, his left side. You have trouble telling what it is. As you focus on it, you can feel those eyes burrowing into your soul. And after a moment, it's gone. The rest of the night passes. You all wake up. It's a great sleep. You all have defeated an enemy that nearly killed you. That literally did kill one of you. Not only that, you defeated the creature that you all had to flee from or risk death. Feeling victorious and triumphant. For the first time in a while, of a true feeling of defeating an evil. The victory in Maragdar was shadowed by the Kenku taking over, filling the power of vacuum. Didn't feel as much like a victory like it should have. But this, especially you two, Perry and Thraka, you feel very much like the deaths of the gatekeepers have been avenged. And despite the miasma that hangs over Thraka, you all are able to get around, walk outside after a quick breakfast, and see the rising sun. What are you all going to do?
Teleport.
Well, if he teleports us before I have a chance, I was going to go get some food.
Do you want to allow him to forge first, or you guys just want to teleport?
Yeah, we're on a timetable. Say have foot in the trees.
Thundergut
Right.
looks extremely weird because he's got a painting strapped to his back.
Yes, he does.
Nonsense, you look like a Pivast crossbowman. Use it as a shield. I don't think he'd appreciate it.
Okay, so
Arcana.
Arcana check, please.
16.
16. Okay. As you all gather hands, and Flynn closes his eyes and recites the words, you feel once again your presence pulled away from you, and you are cast into a tunnel of pure light. Light as bright as the wings that sprouted from Flynn's back in the fight against Neopkis. After a few dizzying moments, nausea sets in. You blink, and there are white birch and oak trees surrounding you.
I'll never get used to that.
You recognize the ash-white bark of these trees as the grove that surrounds Olean.
Cool. I'm going to sit down and attune myself to the forest.
Okay, I need each of you guys to roll me a perception check, please.
Perry's going to look a little resentful.
Go ahead and roll, but with disadvantage, please.
For
Yeah.
perception?
17.
17,
18.
18,
22.
I got a 9.
9, and Thraka?
Oh, sorry, 10.
10, 10. Okay,
My wisdom went up.
all of you, and I will roll for Triswin. All right. All of you almost feel, as well as hear, a deep rumbling at your feet.
Can I interpret this with an insight check?
Sure.
Do I know that's natural or not?
18 plus 6 would be 24.
You recognize this is the same sensation that happened when Olean was speaking to you all.
Is he still talking?
I'll look at the big tree.
Oh, well, at this point, you guys can't see past the grove. But when you're in the grove, the trees are so close together that there's almost no line of sight.
I can't see Olin.
No, literally, that's how close these trees are together.
So is it a beckon, like, come hither?
No, we just
So
step into
to-
Go into the grove?
Well, you're currently in the grove.
Oh.
You want to step beyond the grove.
Step beyond the grove.
Yeah.
You can easily follow the sound as well as the reverberation. It almost seems to emanate from a place. It's not like just trembles at your feet, almost like a wave going through the ground beneath your feet.
So it's like a beacon.
As you approach and break through, you see once again the giant face that almost seems like knots within the tree that seem to form eyes, a vaguest impression of a nose, and a very wide mouth. As you step out of the grove, the mouth begins to move, and you once again feel the voice as it buffets against your body, at the same time as feeling that reverberation at your feet. And you hear, "Welcome, returning heroes. I sense you have been successful. The observatory lies beyond my sight, but I felt the moment of the creature's passing. I thank you, and I see you bear the spoils of your battle."
I introduced the painting to Olean.
You turn around, and for the first time, the painting is speechless.
Oh, that's new.
Olean, Cruin. Olean.
Is there a response?
Thank you for the congratulations. We only here a short time to find a dear pet of mine.
Corinth and his men await you to travel to the Ford Observatory within the Towering Wood. Should you need their help in tracking your animal, you may find they are expert trackers.
Excellent. Is there anything else we could do for you?
You have done far more than you realize. We are gratefully within your debt.
Bronco wants to ask William if he knows about.
Ask him. Ask him.
So, William,
Yes, child.
something appeared in the observatory while everybody was sleeping. Something with 3 glowing eyes, and it was just staring at me. I was wondering if you knew of anything that has 3 like aquamarine blue eyes.
Look within, and you may find the answers you seek. Go now with my thanks, and be the heroes I know you intend to be. And the knots begin to recede into the wood, and after a moment, you're looking at just an inanimate tree, though the largest tree you've ever seen in your lives.
Let's go find your friend.
A moment later, you hear a familiar, welcome back. Follow me, I will lead you to Gorinth and his men. Olean has appraised them of your appearance, and they await you.
You still owe me a drink.
From what Olean said, time is of the essence.
Yeah, when I get back.
Yes, I will wait by my bed, expecting your return.
That sounds very
Curious
nice.
disease. That's not a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
I'll be cleansed, don't worry about that.
Keep your zombie dick to yourself.
It's not zombie anymore.
She sighs heavily, turns around and begins walking into the grove.
Thanks, guys.
I'm serious. His dick was running off like a day ago. You don't want it.
Yeah, act like you had it in your mouth
I'll
again.
just summon Hamish and use him like to help
I
me
don't
carry the
want my breath to be
painting.
rotten.
Easily
My
done.
breath,
You can strap the painting to Hamish much easier than carrying it on your back, and Hamish is nimble-footed enough to easily walk through this forest. And roll me an animal handling check.
Okay, I've got a speed called
You have
Animal
advantage?
Handler.
Yes, you do.
That's out of the park.
29.
You sense, you understand slightly the way Hamish works, that when this ram is soul bonded to one of the dwarven defenders, such as yourself, that when you summon it and it can go into that pocket dimension, time isn't really supposed to pass. It's not really supposed to sense anything, but you can sense the happiness, the joy that Hamish has when he pops into existence and sees you again. And after a few moments of nuzzling and greeting, he easily allows you to strap the painting to his back, and without you having to take his lead, will follow you wherever you go.
Okay.
You're an overgrown horned puppy.
Is there like a fruit in this grove?
In this grove, no. The trees themselves almost appear as if they don't have any leaves. They look not dead, because they're ashen white. They definitely almost have a hum of life to them, but they don't have foliage like the rest of the forest does. It is a very strange, very magical grove.
Well, when we go through town, I'm going to buy apple or fruit, a treat for him.
Oh, you can easily find apples.
Okay.
And outside of the grove, you will see that Gorinth, as well as a dozen Wardens of the Wood, and a couple of you two will recognize a couple of them carry the symbol of Bahamut, which is the constellation that marks the founding of the Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers don't really have a standardized symbol, but that is usually one that is kind of set with them, as it's just a commemoration of their founding.
Recreate, or
It's a commemoration of their founding kind of thing, but the Gatekeepers don't really have much of a symbol to call their own. The Wardens of the Wood do, but the Gatekeepers do not.
So, I assume you're ready to travel.
We're ready to move out whenever you wish.
we're ready now.
So lead the way and find my carver.
Once we get to the encampment, I can send a couple of the boys out with you guys if you wish. They can track it down. They can either track it down for you and bring it back.
That might not be a good
Yeah,
idea for them.
no, just lead me to it.
Darren over there, he's very good with animals. Can speak their language.
Oh,
So if you wish, he could easily find him and bring it back.
All right.
If you wish.
just
Or,
warn
if-
him of the.
If Makushla eats him, you won't hold her responsible, yeah.
if Makushla eats him, I would be greatly surprised, as I've seen the man turn a dire bear into a giant puppy.
Yeah, but she's a little more bad-tempered.
I
I'll
trust
let him
him.
give it a try.
He looks over at Darren, and Darren just like, won't be the first carver I've had to wrangle. If you want me to, I can go ahead and track her down for you and bring her back. But
Yeah.
it's up to you.
Yes, that would be excellent. Go ahead.
All right. Well, where you said you lost Sour? Within the encampment?
No, we tracked her out of the woods for a while.
Oh, yeah, but it was like at the encampment. She
Yeah.
went almost straight west.
So I'll tell him as close as I can the last place I saw a track.
Then I'll break off about a day's journey before we get there. I'll make my way in, and don't worry, I'll find her. The other animals of the forest will be all a chatter to see something like that coming around and hunting.
So if we push the pace, yeah, I break trail?
You break straight.
Yeah.
You're so worried about the raptor. Why don't you just turn into one and make those weird fucking hooting noises that it does?
Turn
Good.
it into a T-Rex as soon as we get out of the.
Yeah, because he can turn into a raptor, but he still doesn't know how to like track and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My
you can
sense
do
is-
the fucking snooty
Yeah.
horn thing or whatever.
Well, it's up to you. If you want to leave Darren to do it, he seems confident. Or if you want to go with, it's up to you guys on how you guys want to do that.
I'll go with Darren.
Now, this guy is a ranger and does seem to move very quickly through the forest.
Yeah,
So
I'll
it's
go
up to
full
you guys.
T-Rex.
Okay. You guys can move
Just turn to a car.
together. So these rangers are very adept at moving through the forest. So you guys, with his help, move unhindered. You guys are moving at your full pace. And you guys don't have anybody who's exhausted currently, as Valis lost his last point of exhaustion when he rested. So you guys are fine to move through. You guys are moving at full speed. So it's actually, for you guys right now, about probably a little over 2 days to get from Greenheart to the forward observatory.
With my own acumen, can I identify who's the group's quartermaster?
That'd probably be Goran.
Okay. Well, I'll assist him in meal prep.
Well, if you want to do that, then you're more than welcome to do that.
Okay.
We're kind of, find some
Oh, well,
roots and some berries and eat that. When we're out there.
You should try some of his.
Well, then we'll definitely have ourselves a meal then. But we do travel quickly. We do travel a bit into the night. We'll be setting up watch, but you guys stay by us, and you shouldn't have any problems. We sent some people out last few days, and forest has been quiet.
We should be. We took care of the major issues.
Well, apparently that creature simply vacating the area did quite a bit of work for you.
Well,
I mean, I'm seeing wildlife I haven't seen.
keep your ears out for the dead silence.
Well, trust me. We'll know when we hear it. But if you all are ready, let's go ahead and get ourselves rushing up north. Yeah.
Let's go.
I'll Jurassic Park develop.
And these, when you get out, you let out the yell, and you recognize a few of the guys that actually stopped you on your way in, and they kind of see you turn into it again. They're just like, one of them will turn over and like, does he do this all the time?
Yes.
It's starting to become a habit.
It fits his ego.
Well, to be fair,
Big mouth.
not necessarily a bad thing to have a giant creature like that following you around.
Hey, kind of reminds me of one that we took down a while back.
My feathers are more
King of
majestic.
feathers.
Aye.
Well,
This time do the feathers pure gold, like the wings.
let's go ahead and get to moving, yeah.
And Goran will tell you, all right, stay close. We move quickly.
And yeah, these guys move fast. I mean, these guys are almost jogging through this place.
So-
Where at the end of the journey,
More than 30 feet around?
no, but these guys are basically double moving.
Okay,
Every
so I can
single
keep
round.
up with them.
Yeah,
So I'm-
yeah. You can all keep up with them, but they're not walking. I mean, they're moving. They're moving as fast as they possibly can, and they're not. These guys are still quiet. You guys are tromping through the woods. You still sound pretty quiet. Everyone else is kind
I
of.
am as light
Yeah.
as a feather.
You're
Fuck
probably pretty quiet too. You're still not used to the forest as much as your friend over here, but you're pretty good in the forest. These guys are experts.
And this guy?
Well, yeah, obviously he's just clomping through the
I'm a
forest.
leaf on some
I've got boots of elven kind.
No.
Stop
His,
breaking the
yeah.
trees!
Well,
No.
you're still clomping,
And
like
then I grew up doing the
clomping,
same
and
shit that he
Trisman's
did,
clomping.
so-
Well, remember, your thing is more about you didn't sneak up on stuff too much. You were more a frontline fighter type thing. You weren't really a scout. But you guys, by the time they make camp, like your stuff is worn off. You can cast it
8
again.
hours.
Yeah. They travel for 12 hours.
Oh no, I'll just once a day.
Yeah. If you want, so just once a day. Okay, so at the other 4 hours, you just
I'll fly.
okay.
Stretch my wings.
Oh, so they didn't go away?
Well, no, they last what, an hour?
Till I dismiss them.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
still
because the
there.
sorcerer ones are.
Yeah.
As long as he wants them, he has a fly speed.
Wow.
But after that 12 hours, you all are exhausted. You guys are tired as hell.
Even though I'm tired, I serve
Go
as
ahead
the
and roll me a
group scoreman.
performance check, please.
What are you looking at?
Tharka's voice goes
Wow.
into Flint's head like,
Holy crap.
"You're the most flamboyant bird I've ever fucking seen. in my life,
The
gotcha."
meal is
Not that bad.
Let our wings go on.
You get your proficiency plus your charisma.
Oh wait, I can't hear you.
Meal is a
Fingers
30.
don't have feathers.
30. Gorant is a little hesitant as you start breaking out your tinder box and start get some a fire going. It's a little.
I don't know if.
What?
You know what?
No, I don't.
He kind of looks around at the forest around him and listens to the sounds of the crickets and the insects at night. And
Normally we keep cold camp, but go ahead.
and you whip up yourself a nice meal. Some of these guys have been foraging through. Actually, one of them, as he was running through, actually managed to shoot a brace of 3 conies. You're able to skin them, gut them, cook them. You make a nice stew. They managed to find some turnips and some other roots. They even managed to find some mushrooms. And you guys have yourselves a stew that warms your soul. Now, the Gorman feat only allows them to get you guys the Constitution bonus. But you guys have the advantage on Constitution saving throws for the next 24 hours. And the other Wardens of the Wood and the pair of gatekeepers are absolutely enthralled by the food. It is absolutely delicious, and you get a great many pats on the back with.
God damn, that, I don't know how you did that, but that's good eating. Maybe give the recipe out to Jilly. Maybe give it to Jilly.
And you guys see that Kana is actually there as well with you guys.
So Jilly's there?
No, Kana is. Jilly is Kana's wife. Kana tells you,
Hey, maybe give that recipe to my wife.
I'll write it
Congratulations,
down and
gentlemen.
give it to Connor.
And all other food now will be ash in your mouth.
Well, I mean, my wife's a pretty good cook. I'm just saying, you know.
Stay away from the wife. I'm watching you.
I'll give it to Grissa too.
I'm more interested in the crowd.
you all stay the night. You all are allowed to sleep, and the Rangers take watch through the night while you all get your rest. Even though they traveled well past 11 o'clock in the evening, they still are up at the crack of dawn. They have themselves a very quick breakfast. What little leftovers there are, some hard bread and cheese, and you all go off again. By nightfall,
What did
at
it
this
say the time
pace.
if I bounced ahead with Darren?
About halfway through the day, Darren and another ranger break off. If you want to go with them, you will slow them down,
No.
but you can go with them if you wish. Okay. So you allow them to break off while you guys continue up. And this is the same thing as before. The forest now feels more alive than it has since you guys have been within the Towering Wood. You guys see squirrels in the trees. You hear conies and other rabbits moving about the underbrush. I mean, yes.
How long is it going to take them to get there?
You mean the group you guys are in? You guys will reach there probably right before nightfall. At the pace that you guys are going.
How long is that going to be?
You guys are traveling at dawn. I mean, it's gonna.
So 8-10 hours?
And you guys are traveling at dawn. So about 12 hours for y'all to get there.
Maybe I should bounce ahead with a few of us. That way I'm ready to depart the instant you all arrive.
Alright. Wait, bounce ahead to where?
Don't fight. It's a surprise.
Did anything happen the night over meditation, however, like the other night, or is it just...
Didn't seem to. But you had a hard time getting your full rest. And you had that feeling of you being watched has not gone away. It's still there, like the hair on the back of your neck slightly, on edge. Do you wish to bounce ahead, or do you just want to follow them?
No bounce ahead. I'm going to take Rotmere and the bird and a couple rangers with me.
And how are you bouncing?
Teleport.
Teleport? Okay, so you want to try to teleport directly to the encampment itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So while they stop, or they continue on, you go ahead and roll me your arcana check.
10?
10? Okay. Let me see. Where's my...
You materialize inside of a rock.
Welcome to the ninth level of hell. Wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Kate, roll me percentiles,
Wow, on
please.
fire.
96.
96. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, but I have a current obsession with the game Hollow Knight, so I need to get off of that.
No, is that on mobile?
No. God, no. It's on. I picked it up for the Switch, and it is fantastic. It is a fantastic game.
Indie darling.
Oh, that game is so
You
good.
really don't want me to teleport somewhere bad? Because that might cost you. I'll be okay.
Okay. As you all teleport through, who do you take with you?
Rotmere, the bird, and 5 rangers.
And 5
Six
rangers. Both the gatekeepers will go with you,
Okay.
as they want to go with that. So then 3 of the wardens. Gorinth will travel with the rest of them. Then Darren and another will break off as they head up.
So
You-
we're with Corinth.
When you link hands and you teleport, you feel that resistance of the teleportation trying to go through, trying to create the link between a ley line that is just almost solidifying
Yeah.
in its placement. You do manage to break through, but it takes so much effort that it drains you. You do have 1 level of exhaustion, but you arrive on target.
And I'm going to sleep.
I am, so, where?
So you arrive, and when you arrive, you see him fall to his knees, and you see him sweating.
Okay, I brace him, and then I look around to see where the heck we are.
You, at this point, are almost smack dab in the middle of the encampment. When you look around, you can see it looks like the scavengers have come in, and lots of the body parts are gone, as they've been carried off and eaten and things like that, but there's still, the blood is still there, the carnage is still there. You guys put out the fires. You guys can still see the grave of Leighton and Hoeth that you guys made, but, I mean, most of the carnage is still here.
I get him to a place where he can rest. I'll roll out his bedroll and...
Probably have remained behind
Yeah.
on the
I'm
outside.
tired. I'm not
Shots of
opposed.
him
Deal with your own problems.
to show up.
And then I'll assess the security of the camp.
Okay. This place is completely insecure at this point.
Okay.
It used to be a walled compound. The walls are breached on 3 sides.
Is there any defendable point within the camp?
For a single or a pair of people, not. I mean, you would need to adequately defend this thing from any kind of incursion. You would need at least 2 or 3 people at each section of wall that has been destroyed.
But, like, is there a building or, like...
The buildings have been gutted. The only true permanent buildings there was the stables, which was almost completely destroyed, and then Leighton's house, which, you know, the back half of that had caved in. He'd basically be in the front half of the house where he'd be able to sleep, but that's about as much as it would be.
So
You could
there's-
hole up in there, but I mean, it would stop a goblin attack, you know, but the building itself isn't super sturdy.
It's the best place.
Yeah, I mean, if you expect an attack, this is a terrible place to currently defend. It's going to take a lot of work to get this place once again refortified and ready to house troops.
Okay. Well, I've just got a hard night ahead of me.
The 5 guys you bring with you, as soon as they come in, they start vomiting. They lose their breakfast immediately and just, oh, I never want to do that again. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I go around and...
They start looking around and just, they get real quiet. And they just begin slowly gathering up body parts and begin doing what they can for the dead. So the scavengers have had their way with it. A lot of crows have come in, you know.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly, but they quietly begin getting to work.
I'm going to help him as much as possible.
Okay.
We can find a less bloody spot.
The front of Leighton's room was relatively
A
undisturbed.
no bloody spot if I can
Yeah,
find one.
yeah.
And just pass out.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, you help them as well, Arnos?
Yeah.
Okay. So between the 7 of you, you're almost kind of wishing that you had stayed back. You guys do manage to finally get most, like pretty much all the body parts in. These guys are not super much for ceremony. They say prayers for their gods, but these guys are put upon a warrior's pyre. They basically dig a large hole, throw the body parts in, and set them on fire. Then once they're burned down to bones, they cover it up with earth, and that's it.
Druids in this group.
There are a few that have some like druidcraft and things like that, but none of them are just full-blown druids. Druids don't tend to go with the groups too much outside of shorter patrols.
That would like fortification problems solved.
Well, you gotta remember, anything with stronger than like 3rd level spells is kind
I was
of
talking
rare.
about a cantrip, but that's not here nor there.
Well, you mean mending?
Shape Earth, you can dig.
Well, yeah, but that helps a little for fortification, but
Better than nothing.
yeah, you guys know that you are all exceptional. Like when it comes to spells and spell-like abilities and things like that, you guys are well beyond the pale of what a typical group can do. Even a group like this. But you guys spend hours working. You're able to finally take a bit of a rest, and you can prepare another meal if you wish. Shortly before nightfall, with the sky beginning to orange, Perry, Thraka, Gorant, and the rest of the Rangers, minus Darren and his partner, arrive at the encampment.
Could we say I have food and water for him?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, water's not a big problem. There is Gorinth himself actually can create water, so water's not a big deal. And they do forage a lot. These guys travel super light. I mean, no backpacks. These guys live off the land as they move. They do not, and they move fast. As you two, as you guys get here, are just like, God damn. Once again, tired from literally running through the woods all day long. But you two can pretty easily keep up with the rest of them. Darren and his partner are gone. As you all collect up in the night, Goran very somberly thanks the two of you for helping his men with the bodies. And he begins to assess the damage as well as the resources required in order to get this place back in working order.
Yeah, I kind of walk with them and assist them with that.
The two gatekeepers that made their way here as well, when you guys arrive, they'll begin kind of working with the two of you to try to see about what fortifications can be made quickly while Darren searches for Makushla. It may take him a day or two to get back, depending on how long it takes him to find her. In that time, if you guys are willing, they'd like to use your assistance. The others there are simply, some of them are going out on sorties and starting to look and see what's going on, see what they can find. A couple of them are going to go to the seals and see what they can find there.
I will assist. Elephant.
Elephant.
That's as you turn into a giant elephant. Well, do you want to try to resist it, or are you willing?
I'm too confused to know what's going on to bother resisting.
Okay, so you're suddenly a giant elephant, and they look at the elephant and go, "That's gonna be kind of hard to move through the trees."
Yeah, it's for pushing over trees and bringing them back here to build walls. It's useful.
Oh, thank you. But how long is this gonna last?
An hour.
You can get some work done. So that'll happen after he wakes up. You know.
Your head with the nose.
As that actually does help a bit. You can pick up some. Well, you know they're not big on knocking down trees, but fallen logs and things like that you can bring back so they can begin to at least cover up some of the giant holes in these walls, these giant breaches. They can cover up and begin to getting to where they at least funneling people through one or two areas. That way they can deal with them if needs be. The gate into this place is gone. Like off of what hinges they have were ripped out of the rock. They're going to have to be completely remade. Gorinth, as he speaks to the two of you, for sake of brevity, we're going to go through this fairly quickly. We don't need to roleplay the whole thing. But Gorinth will tell you he's going to have some woodworkers and masons come up from Greenheart now that they've been able to establish that it's not under direct threat currently. So they'll start sending for supplies and things like that. He sends one of his men back down, a runner, who this guy is fast. I mean, fast on foot. He sends him down with a message for the rest of the wardens to begin channeling up supplies and whatnot to this place, while the wardens are going to temporarily take control. There is a small enclave of gatekeepers to the south of Greenheart that are going to be sending some members up this way to establish a new forward base within this encampment. The gatekeepers themselves are kind of prideful and don't want to simply lose ground, but their numbers have taken quite the hit. And at this point within the Eldine reaches, there's maybe 24 gatekeepers left. A force that was once almost 1,000 strong.
When I finish my next series of quests, I'll come back. I'll help you train some more.
Alright. Would appreciate that.
If he doesn't get stabbed again in the kidney by a Rexasha.
Alright, well,
Why the
there is
rest of
that.
us are here.
I don't really know what that means, but I hope you come
that's
back.
literal.
He was getting
That is
laid.
literal.
He thought he's getting laid, and he's the one that got penetrated by a knife.
They love to tell wonderful stories about me, don't they?
No judgments.
All judgments.
You all done a lot for us, and we really appreciate that. But we're gonna protect this place as best we can know how.
Is that sauce?
It should be a little bit easier for a time period.
Now, over how long are you guys going to wait for Darren's return?
I'm going to tune and see if Darren is within 10 miles.
Oh no, he's way past 10 miles now at this point.
Okay.
Like, they're moving 50 feet around, and they're double moving the whole time while he's tracking.
2 days?
2 days? Okay, so
Do you want to...
natural 20. The second day. Now, while this is happening, are you guys assisting in the reconstruction of this place? Okay.
Yeah.
With your all's abilities,
Cooking.
your strength, Triswin's newfound strength. I mean, your typical strength. I mean, you guys are able to do some serious
Fucking
work on
carry
this
some
place.
Elephant.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can put in some serious work. You kind of jealously watch Triswin as she picks up stuff she should not be able to pick up now, and she keeps polishing that belt every chance she gets.
Yeah.
After I
And-
fucking take the potion, I'm picking up like fucking boulders the size of like.
As you, and it lasts an hour, and for that hour you feel invigorated like you haven't in a
They pick up
long
one.
time.
They pick up
Harvest
one
Moon
thing,
up
and I'm
over
like,
here.
that still counts as
One.
one.
Still only counts as one. But you all are able to assist, and you put in 2 days of hard work, and you get this place at least serviceable when it comes to an encampment. A bunch of lean-tos made for the incoming stonemasons. The plans are not only to just patch this place up, but to get this place up and running completely again. Leighton, for all of the great things that he did, was still a bit of old school and didn't really like asking for assistance from the Wardens of the Wood too much. There was still that divide between the the various agencies of when it comes to protectors of the woods. But now, things being as they are, the Wardens of the Wood are throwing quite a bit of resources at getting this place fixed back up. Of course, with your all's assistance, it may once again prove to become something to be proud of. A new encampment within the Towering Wood. The only encampment within the Towering Wood, as the other two have been destroyed.
Is +7 strength enough to like toss an elephant like the Wolverine
No.
fastball?
Not an elephant, no. 25 strength, you're strong. You're as strong as a fire giant, but even a fire giant would have trouble picking up an elephant and
So will I
throwing
be
it.
strong enough to throw a rock near like the Wolverine fastball,
Oh
especially
yeah,
since he's really angry
with a
nowadays?
25 strength. Yeah.
Just like fastball special.
Just shield up, axe
That's
up.
if he let you.
Axe up.
It'd be hard to throw him if he didn't want you to throw him. He's got that low center of gravity.
It's like, I was just thinking of the delivery system. Just like fastball special. Go rock here, I choose you.
I'll levitate stuff to help out.
I think I'd fly farther.
I figure you guys are using a lot of what you have at your disposal.
Yeah.
Until they
Yeah.
whip the shit out. Like,
So for 2 days, you guys put in hard work and you do a serviceable job. And it's about midday through the second day that you all are there that you hear approaching footsteps with very heavy footsteps among it. Darren, with a very large smile on his face, comes through what you guys have basically done to fix the doorway as best you can. You just kind of set it up and reinforced it with logs to reinforce it, so that way it could take a hammering. And one of the breaches within the west wall has proven to be the best place for you guys to currently have ingress into this place. And that's where he approaches with a giant smile on his face. He comes with a Makushla minus her saddle and bridle and everything else that seems to have been lost in her journey, but she follows him without complaint. And he seems unmauled by her.
Oh, good, she didn't kill him. Come here, sweet fan.
He reaches up and he scratches her on the side of her head, and she kind of just leans into a little bit and then sees you, comes up there and does the traditional greeting, the first one that you did with her. You placed your forehead against her head. And as scary as it was the first time, it's still a little scary. You haven't seen her in a little while, and you still have that sinking sensation in your testicles that she just might decide that you look a little appetizing. But after a moment, you still sense that bond is still there. And now Makushla is returned to the group.
The nicest non-magical sword we have.
You guys have a very, very nice non-magical sword. You guys have a silver longsword if you want to give that to him.
Anyone care? Yeah? No?
Well, we're
No?
going it up
Well,
there.
we might need the silver,
Small.
but does anyone who uses a longsword?
I use a long sword.
Do you
I
care?
don't care.
It would be good against Strahd. Whatever.
He
I have the
takes it,
sword
looks
to
at it.
kill Strahd.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
If it's too fancy, we have less fancy
Yeah.
ones.
He just kind of puts it behind his back. He still has his hand axe and his short sword at his side. I'll put it to good use.
Hey.
Excellent. You go now.
Oof.
There you go.
So,
Is it?
about midday, or a little past midday on the second day, you all gather up. And
Perfect.
Flynn will cast teleport yet again. And he will send you all to where you headed.
Straight to the moreholes.
Where in the Moorholes? You guys have been to two different places. He's been to Chroma Peak and Corunda Gate.
Where does he need to go?
Corunda Gate is his ancestral home.
Yeah.
Karate Gate.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check, please.
16.
16. As you all gather up, the Gorinth will approach you all. Approaches the two of you. I appreciate your help getting this place back up and running. I expect you both back here when you have time. Don't forget your responsibilities. Gatekeepers, they need you both now more than ever.
After we save the world.
Some strange things happened. Runner came back with word. Apparently, not only was where you told us that that seal destroyed, but reports of another seal being destroyed has cropped up. I'm not sure if that was nefarious means of the same
Yeah.
Neopkis you all spoke of, but
I think it might have been a good thing on that one.
well,
We'll get to the details on that one later.
Oline doesn't seem to be distressed about it, which is the only reason I'm not distressed about it currently. But I will.
Probably a fake one.
I wanted you all to know at least some news that we've received over the last day. So, I appreciate you all. If you all are blinking out of existence again, I wish you a great journey.
I hand him a regular coin purse, not like any magical purse, but it's got 10 platinum in it. It's a donation.
We'll put it to use.
And he hangs it on his belt.
Look through my nest of holy symbols, pull one of Alondra out, and put it on him. Alondra bless you and keep you.
And you as well.
Mom usually takes care of me, so.
Her baby boy.
He gives you all the Wardens of the Wood salute, takes a step back. The Wardens of the Wood salute. Takes a step back. You all link hands again. Finn once again closes his eyes, mutters Farfanuger. And you all blink out of existence. Once again, more so than the last time, it seems like distance has an effect on this. You feel that sensation, that queasiness in your stomach, that dizziness. Almost like you're 2 inches out of your own head for just a moment. You all then stand upon the lantern's way, the location with the most significance to you. You can tell that you're probably about an hour's walk just within Lantern's way, away from Corunda Gate.
That would be right in front of the smith if it's the location with the most importance to me then.
The one that gave you the most, that stuck in your head the most, was when you guys went for the magma dragon. That was the one that stuck in your head the most. You're not quite that far, but that when you began tracking it, that stayed in your head.
Technically, I've been 2 inches outside my head. The brain is everything that you are.
Yeah, technically, yes. Technically, your brain has been
outside of
very far out of your own head. You all can begin to make your way to within Corunda Gate. And that's where we're going to take a quick break. This one today is going to be pretty quick. Anybody needs to go to the bathroom? I do. I've been drinking tons of coffee. We'll be back here in about 10-15 minutes. We're going to keep it, try to keep it short today because we have a lot to go over today. See, I didn't kill her.
Thank you. Now we just have to go pick up her barding and everything will be fine.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck finding it.
No, her barding wasn't done, remember? It was still the smith.
No, her current, like, the good barding still it wasn't done.
Yeah.
But the barding she's wearing, like, it's going to be hard for you to ride her right now.
Oh, I'm not going to pick that shit up. It's gone.
Yeah, that shit's gone.
I'll go to the saddle maker, get a saddle done, then go get the good barding.
Okay, we ready? Everybody good to go? Everybody pissed? Everybody can sit down for another couple hours?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's do this.
At least an hour or two. Don't say, Nikki.
Don't worry, you don't bite.
You don't bite. That character needs to make a comeback.
Oh, we come back.
A re-comeback.
What character?
You've never met him. He was fun.
Torian, the big guy?
Yeah.
Big guy fighter. Molested the dragonborn.
I got an 18 strength. I can't get out of this. I can't get out of this. I can't get out of this.
I have an 18 strength and I'm trained in athletics. I can't get out of this. Yeah, that was good fun.
Did not beat the fighter with like a 24 strength and advantage on athletics.
Okay, as soon as she sees that, then she'll have us go live.
Live in 5.
No, we'll see. She'll let us know. Okay, we're good. Okay, and welcome back. We're gonna jump right back into it. We got a lot to try to get through tonight. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we?
Yes.
There's been no movement in the chat, right? Nothing
Not
you
that I
need to
know
do?
of.
Okay, cool.
I was just in the
Cool.
the Twitch.
I just want to make sure if anybody's asked us any questions or anything.
Not that I've seen.
Beginning of the break is a great time to do it. So if anybody wants shout outs or anything like that, beginning of the break is a great time for that. So that's what we'll start doing, guys.
Alrighty.
Okay, so now moving through.
You want to do the countdown?
Yeah, I'll do a countdown for Kyle for our editing purposes. Though if we do announcements, we'll do announcements after we do the countdown. Okay.
Hey.
All right. So we're gonna go live for editing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And once again, welcome back. We're gonna go ahead and jump right back into it as you all move along the Lantern's Way, heading back to Corunda Gate for the first time in quite a while. Almost a year in actual game time. And almost a year in real time.
Fun times.
So, you all recognize this path very well. This path led you all to a fight with, or a confrontation with a magma dragon, and then your first ever confrontation with the Fomorian version of Neopkis. Now this is all new to you. As you move through, you guys can still see the glow orbs that hang, that literally light the way, what gives this pathway its name of Lantern's Way. It is still incredibly quiet and unnerving. This path always is, as you all are very, very deep underground. After a while, you all begin to hear the sounds of people. As they move around, almost coming through off the path. You can see the city out before you, nestled in a large natural cavern. Buildings that have been carved of pure stone lie dotted about the landscape before you. It's not quite level, but it's as level as one would expect. The Corunda Gate is made up of several different tiers. The highest tiers are where the most opulent buildings are, where you will find the richest merchants, where you will find the enclaves for various houses that have enclaves within Corunda Gate. That's also where you will find one of the largest estates that being held by the Kunderek family, specifically the Kunderek family that runs most of the wardens, the actual keepers and guards of the banks and vaults in this area. The banking guild, the banking section of House Kunderak is housed within Chroma Peak. And those two factions have gotten along well for generations. It has been a great division in the family that has been very profitable for everyone included. And this is your first real sense of being in a civilized area for a very long time. Since your short stint in Regalport and shorter stint within Gatherhold, this feels more like a true city, despite it being about a mile underground.
Not enough trees around here.
Which Triswin is very, very happy about. And she'll, finally! No
Actually,
trees!
She's got the hat on.
Before you all teleported in, she put that hat on her head and she has no plans to remove it. As that would be very hard to explain.
Alright.
As you move through, I'd like you to roll me an insight check, please.
That would mostly just be irritating to explain.
17?
As you move through, you can see several people turning and looking and giving you a nod as they recognize who you are. The armor that you wear, while not of House Kunderak make anymore, is you still have a very distinct presence. And many dwarves know you as this was your home for a great many years. At this time of year, which you guys are currently, if anyone cares, you guys are currently in
The winter. Spring?
sorry, I'm looking for the actual day.
At least
you all are in Zarenter. You guys are actually on the 22nd of Zorenter.
Is that winter?
You guys are about you guys are a few days past from the Midwinter Night Festival, which technically happens on the 15th, but technically it's the 16th. You know, technically because it happens at midnight. So you guys know it's still winter. You don't know of any events or festivals that are happening, but there are far more people in the streets than a typical day. And from where you are, the Lantern's Way directly connects to the Merchant District. And this place is filled with people. I mean, absolutely filled with people.
How's Makushla doing?
Makusha's fairly well trained. You can sense her trepidation, as she doesn't like being underground. Definitely does not like that. She prefers the outdoors. But for the time being, she seems to be at least handling it okay. She's been in places like Carlacton and other large cities and been around people.
Okay.
So she's not snipping at anybody. She's a very well trained animal.
Okay.
Don't fear, I feature a juicy dwarf if they get out of line.
Please, no. I will lend you the money for fine cuts of meat if it comes to that.
Well, if it comes to that, then they've irritated me, and it's right after I roast them.
Yes, but that's bad for us because House Kunderak will not allow that to go, especially if it's one of their.
Yeah, so we hope they don't irritate me.
So we're living on.
I'm walking like this.
Okay.
You.
But I'm very level-headed. It's not like I just bang everyone.
It's not like you can fly away, godchild.
So I know this place like the back of my
That's
hand.
Oh, you know.
Very rude. My name
You
is
grew up here. Corunda Gate is your home. It's You know the back alleys. You know everything about this place. Like this is your old stomping grounds.
Do all of you wish to stay at the estate, or would you like to find your own lodging?
I stay by your side till I know you're safe.
I'll stay with you.
We should probably stay together. Don't forget this one's got a target painted on the back of his head.
One's the front.
And you know that you were probably about best case scenario a week ahead of schedule.
That's okay. They can
Okay, I'll
reimburse me.
go straight to the family estate.
Okay, you're gonna head straight there. Okay. Everyone in tow. Okay. As you approach the large estate, you all have seen this place before, except minus you, Thraka. This estate is where you all came when you first entered Corunda Gate with Tristan in tow, with her first return to her ancestral home after running away. So you all remember this place well. And you see guards that you recognize that have been within your family for years, since you were a child. As they see you approach, one of the older ones, he takes a few steps forward and takes, clasps your arm in his, and then pulls you close.
Yeah, I'll embrace him.
Oh, well,
as family member.
you embrace him, you hear his voice in your ear,
Okay.
and he says, "Be wary. It's not how you left it." And he takes a step back, and it's good to have you back.
I'll pull him back and I'll say, "Go on."
There's ears everywhere. I've already said too much. Just watch your back.
Thank you.
He just steps me. Welcome all to the house of the Kondoraks. It's good to be seeing you all again. Haven't seen you since you brought back Triswin, but it's good to have you.
Well, of course. It's always good to have me.
They will be staying within the estates till I finish business here.
Well, you'd have to take that up with your brother, as this is now his estate, but I'll leave that to you.
Thank you.
Is everyone this short here, Flynn?
Yeah, for the most part.
My next
Oh,
fucking.
You've seen about 90% of the people here are dwarves, some elves, some halflings, some humans.
Great, so I'm looking down all the time. 6'7", stooping down.
Well, no, you're not stooping down. The ceilings of this place are huge. And his estate looks like giants could walk around within these rooms.
Think,
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, think of Moria type thing.
Moria.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got plenty of headroom here. Like the
Wait,
dwarves, especially in the Corunda or the Kundarak estate within Corunda Gate, is opulent, if a word needs to be used. The heavy ironwood door is pulled open by both of them, and you are allowed to enter. You know,
And, I turn to them and address them, but I try to look like I'm still. I'm not directly speaking to them. I'm like, watch what you say. There's something going on.
I have a question for you. If you live this good, why the fuck are you starving out the woods with us?
You can say this lifestyle does not appeal to me.
It feels to me.
It's Ricky's fault.
and Tristan gives you a death glare. Don't,
Yeah.
don't even say my name.
I said it's
Don't
Ricky's.
even say my name.
Yeah, it's a long story.
What's
Don't
wrong?
worry
What's wrong
about
with your name? Ricky?
Don't draw attention to me at all, please.
Just stop talking.
You know, it's fucking weird when I touch his mind and it's
Don't be doing any of that, please.
ma'am.
I'm serious. If you blow my cover, I'm going to have to snap you over my leg.
Well, you know she can do that, right? Come on.
Who's the she you keep talking about? Let's move on.
In many ways, this place is just as dangerous as Marakdar. And I lead them directly
Are the hairs on the back of my neck
Where?
finally down?
into the estate.
You still have that feeling. It's
I'm being stalked by Dad.
you're distracted away from it when you're talking, when you're doing things, but any moment of quiet, and you have that sensation.
Go away, Dad. I'm doing things.
So where do you head?
I'm a
I
boy now. You're doing
go to the area of the house where visitors usually wait. And
And as you enter the second foyer,
Mhm.
you're met by Bitwick,
Mhm.
your old butler.
Okay.
As he sees you, oh, it's good to see you, master. And he gives you a full hug. I mean, decorum is gone for a second, but he lets you go and straightens back up. And it's good to have you back, sir. It's much faster than we would have expected. Word had reached us that you were within the Eldine reaches.
I called in some favors.
Well, it's a good thing we had word that there was a derailment of the lightning rail between Fairhaven and Carlacton itself, and we had worried that you had been on there. It's good to see that you're okay.
No friend of mine will travel in a pedestrian manner as a lightning rail.
It's good to hear that, Master Flynn. Was it correct?
Yes, this is correct.
Might I ask for accommodations for my companions?
You will have to speak to your brother about such a thing, as he is the master of the house now. He runs a tighter ship than your father did, I'm pleased to say.
What of mother?
Your mother is here. Would you like me to call for her?
I will counsel with my mother, and then I will speak to my brother.
Your friends may stay here. If you would follow me, I will lead you to your mother's new chambers.
Please, show them the hospitality I am accustomed to.
We will have refreshments brought in. It seems as if they're a bit road worn and weary.
Oh, maybe we could find a bath.
He nods at the five of you as Ricky is nodded towards, though he seems strangely not dirty while the rest of you are.
I'm not dirty.
True.
Prestidigitation.
The rest of you are very road worn. As you leave, a few moments later, refreshments are brought in. Clean, cold water, as well as basins of water and rags for you to cleanse yourselves with a bit. Nothing too extravagant. There is no food offered, but the stone benches of which you sit on look like they should be incredibly uncomfortable, but the opposite is true. Is you sit on them and feel strangely at ease. You are led not to your mother's old room, the master bedroom, as it were, where your father spent his last days. But the last moments you spent with your father is he passed with you. That is not where you are taken.
Okay.
You are taken to what was once servants' quarters that has been adapted. As he raps upon the door and announces your presence, the door is opened and you see your mother before you, and she smiles and she invites you into the room. She thanks Bitwin, or Bitman, sorry. She thanks Bitwin and steps aside so you can enter. When you enter, she closes the door and she turns to you and she smiles at you. You know your mother's not the warmest person, but there's something Go and roll me a insight check, please.
21.
She smiles at you, and the smile itself is genuine. And while it touches her eyes, there's something else behind it. The smile isn't mirrored completely in her eyes. You can definitely see there's lines beneath her eyes, bags. She looks much older than when you left her. Whether the death of your father has weighed greatly upon her, there is definitely something that weighs heavily upon her.
I say, is it safe here to speak, Mother?
It's safe enough. I'm grateful that you have made haste in your presence, or that you were able to get here quickly. Things are not as they're not as stable as I would like. And I must tell you, your brother is the one who commanded me to ask for your presence. But it is good to see you, son. It does my heart good to see my child again.
So, it was not your message?
Well, I was to relay it, but I was told by your brother to make the arrangements. He is the one that demanded your presence home.
And he has decided to give you such accommodations within the estate?
He has. He is the master of the house now. He is the head of the family. And he has made changes.
Well, his younger brother can still break his legs.
I would not say that outside of this room. He is not the leader your father was.
Speak freely. How so?
He is my son, and I love him. I love him dearly. But this is not the vision your father had for the family. He makes sweeping decisions. He is known to be curt and outright hostile to our ancient allies. And while I only hear rumors and whispers, a great many disconcerting things have reached my ears. And I am worried for our future.
The family or the whole house?
The house is not my responsibility. I care for my remaining children. Triswin is thankfully safe within Regalport with her husband. We have frequent correspondence, though she has taken to the lifestyle. I am happy to find out she has taken to the lifestyle much more than I assumed that she would, but it seems as if being married suits her greatly, and she, in her letters, seems happy.
Y'all say I'm alive.
Have the other members of the family noticed this change?
Yes, it's become very apparent. I am glad that you are here because while your brother demands your presence, I have a great need of you to do your duty as my son for me. I have never asked you to stay. I've never demanded that you put the family before everything else. As a matter of fact, I was grateful that you left to find my daughter, despite your brother's vehemence that you need to return, and even your father's reluctance to have you gone from your post, and to take such a vast amount of wealth with you. Your brother is currently in prison.
Hasseth?
Fickrick, placed there by Hasseth. Two months ago, your brother was arrested. Rumors reached my ears that Hasseth, knowing about your youngest brother's proclivities for the movement of less than savory goods, instead of turning a blind eye as your father did, your brother demanded that he pay the price so as not to besmirch the family's newfound name and fame.
Well, he's fifth. He's not getting any inheritance. He has to take care of himself. And now he can't. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying Fickrick is going to spend the rest of his life behind bars if your brother has his way.
What else has Hathis done to destroy this family?
The deal that your father made with High Prince Rygar, your brother has discarded.
So there's no
enclave
in Regal
of House Kundarak will ever be placed within Regalport, according to your brother. He has, and I tell you this in confidence, and I have no evidence besides rumors to suggest otherwise, but it seems as if your brother makes a play against the banking section of the house. He seeks to take over all of it. He wishes to sit at the head of the table over every family of Kundarak. I don't know why your brother acts so erratically, and I don't know why he demanded your presence. He has done nothing but speak ill of you since you left to find Tristan.
We never got along, but
He has seen your...
is my freedom in danger?
I think all of our freedom is in danger. Anyone who speaks up against him, anyone who deems to call into question his motives or his methods does not... I only hear rumors, but the rumors are that opposition to your brother has begun to turn out missing. Sorry. Try to hold that in.
Well, I was given to the military as second son. I know how to fight wars. I don't know how to politic.
I know.
Is there room for me to appoint a mouthpiece?
Against your brother? I don't believe so. Your brother has spent years inserting himself into the methods of the family, and he has turned a great many of our allies into enemies with his actions. True, our family currently enjoys a standing within the overall house that we have never had before. We stand at the precipice of being the most powerful of the Kundaraks.
At the cost of
Everything I've held dear for years, including my own youngest son. I'm so glad Trisman is not here and beyond his reach.
what are the barristers? Have they looked into this? Is there any legal grounds? Or has Fickrick dug his own grave?
Fickrick was found in possession of stolen dragon shards. Shards that have been laid claim by the Wayfinder Foundation.
Okay. What do you want me to do, Mother?
That's a hard question.
For all I know, he could already have made the decision to throw me in the stocks as soon as I come into his presence.
As soon as he sees you, that may be his plan. I'm not entirely sure what his plan is. But I would want you to free your brother.
Are my companions in danger? They are
You
down in
all,
the foyer.
the Knights of Fate, word of your deeds and those of your companions have spread all across Corvair. And while I see it as a boon, your brother has seen it as a black eye to the family. He doesn't see it as you being heroic, he sees it as you being selfish. He's spoken of this many times, but it's strange how his behavior has become so erratic. I don't know if the death of your father still weighs upon him. I don't know if this was his plan all along. But he is a genius, and he has maneuvered himself perfectly. I don't know what much can be done. Now he sits in a war council with his trusted lieutenants.
War council? Who are we going to war with?
That is what he refers to his meetings as. He says he treats business as one would war.
Nerd. If he wants a war, he'll find it.
Well, currently he is winning it. You have a few hours, perhaps, before he is aware of your presence. But once he is, he will demand to see you.
Well, I will make preparations.
Thank you, son. I'm glad to see you despite the ill tidings. It is good, and you've brought honor and glory to us. You're the best of us. Beyond the politicking and the backroom deals and the secret handshakes and just running the house, you're just a good man, and I'm proud to have raised you. Now, he will no doubt call for me after he speaks with you, and he expects certain decorum. I would suggest that you make yourself ready to have a meeting with him. He will demand that you dress appropriately.
Paul to the GM.
You know what that entails.
Thongs?
Esther's fine linens?
Oh yeah, that's not
More very regal wear. You're allowed a chest plate itself, but no other armor, no weapons.
So I can't go with my military rank?
That would be your military rank. You'd put your military rank on your chest plate. This is very formal.
Okay, well, I'm probably going to piss him off because I will have my hammer and shield.
She opens the door, and you see Bitwin is still outside. As he sees you, he steps forward, and your companions still wait for you, sir. Would you like me to take you back to them?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good, good. Madame, it is great to see you. And you as well, Bitwin. She closes the door, and he leads you back. Seems as if he's your escort, which you have not had within your own home before.
My mind is racing, trying to remember. Is there a local tavern where it would be easy for them to extricate themselves from Karunda Gate if needed?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm counting money. I don't want them to stay in this state. If Hasseth is so erratic.
Okay, you easily make your way back to the foyer. Bitwin sees you all. Lord Hasseth is currently in the War Council. He has demanded that you be ready to see him when that is over. I will fetch you.
I've heard his demands. I must counsel with my companions.
Yes, I have asked if your companions would be allowed to stay here, and he has denied the request.
I thought so.
My lord, he has also denied your staying here as well.
That is interesting. We'll take our leave right now then.
I will, if you wish, you may go to the Lantern's home.
Anything that I ask you to do will probably be used against me.
Well, if you wherever you wish to stay, if you can send a runner to allow us to know, so I can send word when he is ready to see you.
I will tell Hasseth in person. I will not be late.
Then I will see you within upon the next hour.
Okay.
What's he look like when he comes down the stairs?
Roll me an insight check.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll too. Actually, can I just go into his mind?
Could I just tell him?
Yeah. What's the range of it?
30 feet.
So when you first see him, he's out of range. When he comes within range, if you want, you can touch his mind, but you can't. Are you attempting to use the medallion?
Yeah.
Okay, because you'll get a wisdom saving throw.
Can I choose to fail?
You can choose to fail. You feel an intrusive presence within your mind.
I'm so consumed with.
You can detect his surface thoughts, and he is consumed with worry.
Oh, another thing too.
And you can see it. It's written on his face. You've known Rotmir for years. Thundergut has been an ally of yours now for 4 years, a little over that, and you haven't seen him genuinely upset often, but you see something in his face that immediately puts you on edge.
Toss the cup aside. Ready my staff.
He's his surface thoughts are using what limited headspace he's got to plan a exfiltration. So if we need to get out of here quick, he's selecting an inn for us. He's thinking of people that he could trust.
And that's about as far as you get there.
And then
when he approaches.
On my face, he's in control, but behind that is a rage that is smacks you in the face. There's quite a bit of anger.
Ease back a little bit more on the bench, kind of hand soloing it, but free the staff to where it's in position to be used.
Bitwin takes his leave from you, opens the door, and I have been ordered to escort you out when you leave. I'm sorry for the cold reception, friends. I hope the next time I see you is under warmer circumstances. Please, this way.
Good man, may I ask who's responsible for the discourtesy I am shown?
My name is Bitman.
Yeah, Bitwin. Who is responsible for the discourtesy I am shown?
Flynn, anything you say will be used against you.
That's fine.
I don't think.
Who has been discourteous to me?
All courtesy has been shown to you as it is all guests. This way, please.
This is not the fight to pick.
He opens the door to the main estate, and you all exit out. You see the look on both of the guards' faces as you walk by, and it's that same sense that you got when he whispered that phrase into your ear. You can re-enter Corunda Gate as Carl Acton is probably about a football field away from any other buildings. At its front entrance, and it sits against the back cavern wall itself, and it takes up a sizable portion of the cavern. So you guys can enter back into the Corunda Gate proper.
In passing, is it still the old guard?
Yeah, the old guard's still there.
Okay, I give him a warrior's handshake and pull him close, and I say, I fear you will have a very hard choice to make in the near future.
He grunts and steps back.
Thraka's gonna talk into his brains like, so he went to talk to his mom about the brother and shit, the new head honcho, and he's very fucking pissed from what I could tell in his head. So I think it's the other short Rotmere, the dickhead one that's fucking treated you like shit, godchild. So I think that's like sacrilegious now or something, you know.
Would
fire.
you stop calling me that?
Calling it once.
Is
Well, I
that
try not
in?
to get
Do
struck
you have a
down.
name?
What are you
do want me
talking
to-
Yeah, Lantern's Home. It's the same inn that you guys actually used before.
Lantern's home.
Yeah.
And that one is actually like a stone's throw away from the Lantern's Way.
So the rest of us are walking in blissful ignorance as this one broods, and these two are having a
Oh no, you guys can tell he's brooding.
Yeah,
He's talking to
relatively.
himself.
Yeah.
No, I'm,
Well, I'm when I feel it's safe, I am
Okay,
commenting to them. There's ears everywhere here. If you slip up and say something, it will be used against you.
At a time when I wish that we had the guild hall.
Rotmere, my tentacle dad is fucking stalking me. I really don't care about your midget people's fucking politics right now.
I should take to Twitter.
Well, you're in the middle of it, and it will bite you if you let it.
I've already had my brain sucked down. I really don't care.
So, where are we meeting later?
as usual, I will be doing the thinking for Thraka.
We
It's
are
almost as if I didn't
No.
have a brain for a
to
little
book.
bit.
Do we strike before he's prepared?
No, I must face him alone.
Yeah, you're not facing anyone alone. I've walked too far by your side to let you go now.
I like you. You whooped the shit out of that dude at the bar fight. You're a cool
And
guy.
if he is a coward, I burn him down.
Well, I'm the only one he will accept audience with.
Then he won't have an audience.
What if I look
For
like
I'm not
you?
leaving your side.
Exactly like
Mm.
you.
Well, it's a very direct route. What room is he likely to treat with you in? Can you point out its window?
At this point, you have no idea. While you guys barely recognized it, you saw he has completely redone the estate. Where your father had a large painting of the family when you first enter, gone. Oh, we need to plug that in.
You call your brothers
We have a,
sneaky
charge
one,
point?
yeah? We find our allies and then we strike.
We may have to go without music.
How quick are you due to meet him?
Actually,
Within the
we
hour.
can do this. We can do this.
I need
Alright,
to
get
clean
me
up
a quarter.
Just give me one
There's certain
second, people.
appearances that I have to abide by.
And I was smart enough to bring my charger.
Is there a mage that wards the place? Or is they men of steel?
They are literally the house of warding.
We are
They ward their own house.
probably the most adept entity in Corvair at securing things. So yes,
So approaching through stealth probably won't work for me then.
Put the chair in.
I have to play the game, and if I can, get word back to you.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of this plan.
Hmm.
I go with you.
There we go. It's short, but
According to what I know, when I'm summoned before my brother, is it me and only me?
as far as you know, yes.
Yeah, in that fucking place, does disguise self not work? Because I have disguise self at will.
You saw Triswin's hat still worked
What,
when she was in there.
what does your
Yeah.
brother look like? by chance?
Out of character, possible assassination
I'm gonna
time.
get that knocked down.
Smash little man.
Well,
then he
he's
is new king.
Then I am friends with
6 or
then I
7
make money.
inches shorter than I am. He was not blessed with the physicality I have.
Oh, lit.
It's around this time. No, you make your way to Lantern's home.
Yeah.
It's around this time that you guys approach Lantern's home.
I don't have much time. I gotta bathe. I've gotta get my clothes ready. I've got.
You know,
to-
this is a more upscale place. They do have baths, though they're cold.
Mhm.
They do have rooms. As
No.
you enter, you once again see the same proprietor there, by the name of Ilan.
Mhm.
Ilan sees you approach and
Master Ravia, how are you doing, sir? Or Thundergut, right? That's what, yes, sir, Thundergut. Yeah, that's, sorry, me noggin is not as good as it used to be. Can I offer you a room? Are you staying
Yes.
with friends? I mean,
Yes, all of us will require accommodations.
you as well, sir?
Yes.
All right, I have a few rooms available. I have 4 rooms currently available. How many rooms would you like?
If you take them all,
All 4? All right. That's gonna be 5 silver a night for each room. Call it 2 gold pieces.
yeah, you clean out the other patrons. We
Uh,
require the establishment.
I not can't really do that. If
We
you
pay
wish.
the fee. They
I
leave.
have a bit of a reputation to maintain, but when they leave, I can certainly offer you the room when they're gone.
Yeah, so I go talk to them and then they leave.
I would rather you not intimidate my guests.
I will ask nicely. I'm a very persuasive man.
Yeah, that.
he turns to his son.
Eric, accompany this man to the rooms and make sure that he's not trying to intimidate my customers into leaving.
Don't start a war, please.
And
Would
Eric
I
comes up.
start a war? That doesn't seem like me.
He's got a bit of scruff on his face, but not a full beard, you know. Probably a younger dwarf. He sees you and, "Aye, father, I'll help him out." He goes, "Oh, this way, so we currently have 14 rooms that are currently occupied."
Excellent. We start at the close one and go to the far one.
"Oh, let us go, sir." He heads to the rooms, and the first room you come to, he raps upon the door's open. A woman looks at him and, yes, little lad, how can I help you?" "Oh, this gentleman would like to talk to you." Oh, how do you doing? Half elf are you?"
Yeah,
How can I
am
help you?
Flynn
"Flynn, nice to meet you.
of
How
the
can I
Knights
help
of
you?"
Fate, and I require your room.
"I'm currently occupying my room, sweetie."
Yeah, I will pay you to occupy a different establishment.
And how much are you paying me to occupy a different establishment?"
The rate is 5 silver a night, so I pay your night here and your night at the other place. Plus another gold for your trouble. Call it 2 gold.
Well, the only other place that's in town that would be able to seat me is a bit more upscale than I'm used to. What's the going rate for that, Eric? He says, "Oh, miss, I think that's 5 gold a night." So call it a gold for leaving here and 5 gold for there.
One moment. How badly do we need privacy? And you may need to gather your allies in a quiet place.
Fucking Thraka walks up and puts the coins in her hand.
You know, these are stone-walled rooms, so I mean, sound doesn't really carry here.
Well, he's thinking magic, so
Okay.
there's so much magic here. They could be listening even now.
Dallas looks around and not really any magic in here.
Let's buy everyone out.
Yeah. So, 1 gold, 1 5. You have 6 gold there. Have a nice night.
Let me clear out my room.
Thank
And
you.
you palm the 6 gold in her hand. She gratefully looks at it. And, all right. Picks up her stuff and she gratefully walks out.
Have a
with smile on her
wonderful
face.
evening, lady. And
Oh.
remember us kindly to everyone.
Oh, very, very nice. Thank you. And Eric, you're gonna do that for everyone here?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I will let you make 2 different persuasion rolls.
28,
Okay, and your second one?
30.
Okay. You're gonna be able to buy the rest of everyone out for a grand spanking total of 25 with a 30 and a 28. It's gonna cost you
14.
about 75 gold total to get everybody else to leave. Because some people are staying here for multiple days.
Fine.
Okay.
Mm.
This is
Mark
good.
off 75 gold, and you guys have currently rented out the entirety of Lantern's home.
Okay, in addition to that, I'm going to give the proprietor an extra 100 gold for his silence.
Oh, thank you very much, Thundergut. Always appreciate you all staying here. Since you have the run of the place, dinner on us.
So, Ivan, last time Sundergut's brother, Fikrik, you found some friends of his for him. If you need those friends.
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't need to know what I'm talking about. Just find some people. It says money in it. And I'm not in a very good mood, quite honestly.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Fikrik is currently
In prison.
incarcerated. Most of his friends that I know about have been rounded up and locked up with him.
The ones that haven't been rounded up.
Uh,
I wonder if you could give me a location of where he's locked up. So that would be nice as well.
You would know where he's locked up. It's referred to as Iron Home.
He's in Iron Home.
Yeah, I will take his release.
the only 2 people that I know of that have a connection to him are currently in Iron Home with him. As far as I know, a little over a dozen people were rounded up and tossed in there. From what I hear, they just didn't bother making a key.
Oh, that's okay. I can make keys.
I didn't hear that.
Damn it. Thank you
I'm
for
gonna
reminding
go
me
ahead
to replace
and
my-
take my
These
time
tools.
preparing dinner.
Can I look
Oh,
at
yeah, that's
the
better flavor.
family document?
Uh,
I just
Yeah,
need to know
that does
the
better
2
with
other
my
brothers'
dog.
Let's
names.
give our Owlbear because of you.
I think
Also,
it's
if Flynn starts a
Groot,
war, does that technically
Nar-
make it a holy war since he's a demigod?
I should have been prepared.
Got some songs.
I'm just asking the questions.
okay. Thalgraf?
Hope he does it.
And is he the
is
church
third
guy?
brother? No.
He's the,
Yeah, he's the bard type. Then you have Grugnar.
Instead of him in strength, you have him in
Yeah.
strength.
And Grugnar is the priest.
Priest.
Priests.
I suppose the highway is 16, so that's
Okay.
And a Da Vinci
Um,
Park litter.
Can I make a history check to see if I know if they're in the city?
You know they were in the city the last time you were in.
Okay. And I have those 2 different places where they would be, the temple or the military station.
Well, your other brother, he just kind of lived at home.
Okay.
Didn't really work with the military station.
Mhm.
He and your other brother lived at the Temple of Ilra.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, I have some polishing to do, some
So,
bathing, some.
how long do you spend before you return to the estate?
Well, I want to be there before he gets there.
Well, he's currently in the estate.
Yeah, but he's in War Council before he's done.
Okay. So you want to do this as quick as possible?
Yeah.
Okay, so while that is happening, what are the rest of you doing?
Going to Ironhome.
I guess
I'm
I'm
going
going
with
with him.
I'm gonna probably just tag along with the godchild.
Triswin stay as in her Ricky guise will stay at Lantern's home as her revealing herself in this situation would make everything a shite side worse.
So, is there anyone we need to talk to for you? Is people we need to gather?
Just remember, my brother will just as soon put you in Ironhome.
Yeah, if he tries, I burn him.
He's got he's got resources that even we as the Knights of Fate can't overcome.
And we need to try not to kill all the dwarves in the city.
I only kill half of them.
Thank you, Thanos.
3/4.
I will control my temper, listen to his demands, and then do whatever I feel necessary.
Maybe I should go in disguise as you, because I can do that, and the hat works inside, because, let's face
You
it,
won't shrink enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are about as subtle.
you grew a little bit.
Yeah, you're 6'7". You'll still be about
That's still
10 inches
What
taller.
Dark is
than
trying to say is that still might be a little bit better because he just said control my
Well-
temper.
As you know, controlling your temper doesn't work. Remember at the bar, I haven't seen you punch that fast or hard, even in actual combat.
Thraka. This is his home. We will help him how we will.
Burning chicken.
But it's his fight.
Yeah, if it comes to that, then I
Oh,
burn
he'll
the
give
whole
you a very
place.
I'm on
accurate
board with it because it's
description.
treating me like
Oh no, that's I'm referring to get eyes on target.
But at this moment, I am going to go see about a dwarf. Unless you have something else for us to do.
I'm wholly consumed with dealing with my brother.
Yeah, I deal with your brother if you want.
No, he will never take audience with you.
Yeah, he doesn't need to take an audience.
Well, then, I don't know quite what you mean. My mind is going to violence.
Yeah, I deal with him the way I dealt with the death god.
That's good.
The thing in the bottom of the Temple of Annihilation.
Let me see what I can do. And if I utterly fail, every
Okay.
one of you will hear about it.
And we'll rescue
And
him.
then we deal with him like we dealt with his death god.
Mm.
I like this plan. I go see about getting your little brother loose. I like him.
He knows
I'll go with
the political world.
I'll go with
He
this
could be a very powerful ally.
Yeah, so if we free
one.
him,
But I can be nearby.
I'm off to Ironhome.
I go with you. I do the sneaky.
Drago?
I'm going with Flynn because at this point, like he's
Valis will stay back with
See if I can acquire new
Ricky?
these tools while I'm at it.
I'm putting on my best vestments.
I would need you to roll me an investigation check, please. And that's going to determine
That's a 14. Yeah, 14.
14?
Breastplate.
Yes.
5 plus Dex.
Yeah.
On your AC.
I'm looking for the smithy that has the Thieves Guild carving next to it. The Thieves Can't carving next to it.
You don't find it before Rotmir is heading to the estate.
Oh well, then never mind.
But you're pretty damn sure there's a Thieves Guild here. You see a couple of markings that light your attention. Do you continue to look, or do you follow Rotmir?
I'll see you at the estate.
Don't get caught.
Of course not. I'm gonna go say hi to the local Thieves Guild.
Okay. While you're doing that, and you guys are headed to Ironhome, we will actually go ahead and do Ironhome. The guy said Ironhome. We will do that first. Ironhome lies down the Lantern's Way. About a 3-hour walk from Corunda Gate.
This place is huge.
Gargantuan. You guys head that way?
Yep. Best vestments.
The walk itself is untroubled. You all know that after you kind of helped clear the way, the magma dragon was causing quite a bit of commotion in the area and was disrupting a lot of trade. But with you all treating with it and helping it, or I should say, it not attacking you and you not attacking it and allowing it to re-enter the elemental plane of Earth, vacated it from the area and has allowed trade to continue to pass through. You know the pathway that leads to Ironhome is you know Dwarven, so which means you read Dwarven. The Dwarven runes will lead you on a path. This is a very cosmopolitan area, so simply following the path will lead you directly there. As you all approach, Ironhome is exactly as it sounds. It looks to be a gargantuan steel or iron cube. It is laid into stone. There is a pathway that leads directly up to what appears to be the outer doors, which are guarded. There is an area beyond, which also has a gate. There's an area beyond that, which appears to be what would be the yard, where anyone who is allowed to exercise or do those things is allowed to be. And then there is the main structure itself. As you all approach, you are hailed from very far off with a booming voice that you can hear about 700 to 800 yards before you even reach the front doors. And the hail is, "Halt!"
Stop.
After a few moments, you see 6 guards in full armor begin marching your direction.
Oh, this is very creative. Welcome.
As they approach, they get within probably about 30, 40 feet of you, and they stop, and one of them at the back pushes his way forward, stands in front of the rest. He wears fairly basic iron armor. You guys have seen the plate mail that the guardsmen wear. It's very similar to that. It's very geometric in shape. It has overhangs to cover the arms. It has an overhang to cover the neck. Comes out at a strange angle. Has a visor with 2 ports for the eyes and just a port for only the mouth itself behind the helmet. Each of them carries a short sword at their belt and a battle axe upon their back. And they each have what would be a tower shield for them, which would be just like a large shield for any of you. They move with military precision. As he comes out, the only difference between this one to the others is that on his left pauldron there is a draping of what appears to be a gold band that is been worked into the iron of the armor itself, and it seems to be like a Celtic knot style band on it. As he approaches, he looks each of you over with a very unscrupulous eye for a moment. He goes, "What brings you to Ironhome?"
Yeah, I am Flynn, priest of Alandra, and I am here to provide services to the condemned.
We already have our priest that provides services to the condemned. Why are you in Ironhome?
Yeah, I am Flynn, and I am here to provide services to the condemned.
We already have a priest on staff, and we don't care about Alandra. Dolara is our patron.
You care to insult the luck goddess?
I don't insult any goddess. We already have a priest on staff. Why are you in Ironhome?
We come to seize a prisoner, to provide services and counseling. These are my gods. I am a humble priest.
Well, 3 members of the Knights of Fate coming to my doorstep doesn't really make much sense to me. Especially if you're coming in to give counseling, which we don't offer counseling.
Yeah, that's why I come, because you don't offer it.
Everyone here is a criminal who has deserved his fate. What brings you to Ironhome?
I come to speak to one of the prisoners.
And what gives you the right to do so?
I've saved about 4 times now.
Oh.
Perhaps I know what I'm doing.
Perhaps you go back and you get proper clearance, come back with paperwork, and I will allow you through.
Who gives the proper clearance?
Well, it depends on what prisoner you want to see now, doesn't it?
Oh. But maybe my friends King Caius and all the other King Caiuses will give proper clearance?
Nope. But if you like, you can go back and get the proper clearance, and you can come in and talk to us. Your best bet? Head into the local Kundurek Enclave and talk to them. No one goes into or out of Ironhome without proper clearance. If that's all, I'll bid you farewell.
That's worked well.
That sucks. Your forger just kind of split off from the group.
So,
Did there look like there was any way to sneak up to it?
This is literally a cavern that has been tunneled into the rock. There is one way to Ironhome, and Ironhome takes up the entirety of this 500 foot wide by about 600 feet long cavern. Let me put it to you this way. The banking guild that creates vaults
built a
created this prison.
We should go find it.
Which
2 dwarves wearing like
part of
wedding
the
bands
guild
or
is
anything?
his brother in?
The Warden Guild, which would be the people
No,
who made
but
the prison.
was he the banking side or
No, they're his whole family is the warding side.
the? Okay.
Yeah, they're part of the warding guild. The in Chroma Peak is where the banking guild center usually is, but apparently Hasith is encroaching into their territory.
Well,
Do dwarves wear like wedding bands and shit? Like show that they're married?
No,
Oh, okay.
they don't wear wedding rings and shit like that. No.
Okay. Because I was thinking I could talk in his head and like do what I did to other people in the past and just like fill their head with their own voice. You know, distract him, make it easier for him. Like I did the dude at the bar. Like, damn, my fucking
You,
ass hurts.
in the famous words of Matt Mercer, you can certainly try.
Not stopping it.
So, in his own voice, in his own head.
Well, you're gonna need to roll a performance check for that.
Okay.
Or deception.
And no, it'd be performance because you're trying to mimic his voice. Because when you speak into somebody's mind, it's your
Wait,
voice
take
they
it from
hear.
the, take it from the person
Could
who has
I
their
roll
bonuses
for
to
persuasion
mimic for that.
Nope.
Persuaded is his voice?
Nope, this is a
Get a plus
performance
9.
check.
Fucking 9 plus 1 plus another 4.
14.
Yeah, 14.
You see what you can of his face. You see his teeth grit and you see his eyes narrow. He goes, "Form!" And he takes a step back, pulls his short sword out of his belt, and the other dwarves come up at his side.
I suggest you sheath your weapon. I've done nothing hostile.
But he has.
Who?
You,
Pretty sure.
orc.
Oh, actually, I'm half. Thank you very much. But why are you accusing me blindly of doing something to you?
Because that was clearly your voice in my head.
I think you're crazy.
And I think
Do you have
need
any
to leave
proof?
now.
You're a man of law.
They
You
take
have to
they
have
all
proof.
take a step forward. This is about to get very ugly.
Is that why you hide your face? Since you're accusing me blindly against
Take
the law?
another step forward.
Raka, we go. We promised we wouldn't slaughter anyone. You have insulted the wrong man today.
I don't expect you'll be getting into Ironhome anytime soon. I'll be reporting this to my superiors.
What, that you insulted somebody who really came to ask to provide services?
That your friend here tried to use magic to influence me.
I didn't use shit to influence you.
Alright,
When you touch somebody's mind, you know you have a connection to them.
I understand. However, he has no proof, and in majority of courts of law and everything, he has no basis because he could say it, but it's his word
but
against
you're
mine.
talking about like our courts of law. Like his courts of law could be if he says you did it, you did it.
Yeah, it's not a.
Yeah, this is when magic's involved, everything gets kind of loosey goosey.
Let's
Remember the words of Thunder, guys.
Vigo.
God.
Oh, what was your name again?
My name is
He's got to look at it.
Eunuch.
Yeah. I curse upon you and your entire house for eternity, eunuch.
Eunuch. Eunuch, isn't that the name of someone who has their balls cut off?
Yes.
Vigo.
Is that why you have to have all your friends?
Yo, Thraka, Vigo.
have we met before?
They take another step forward.
Oh, okay, we'll deal with it later.
Leaving.
You guys turn around and start walking away.
Yeah.
They literally wait until you're out of sight before they turn around and get back in formation and head back in.
I've never seen someone press the luck button so much. Press that luck. It's
Hey,
all you
gotta
get.
happen sometimes. Sometimes the dice just ain't with you.
Hey Flynn, why does the Lollipop Guild think that they're threatening?
Because they are. That was a very stupid move.
I could pump them.
You think.
Yeah. Could you punt Rodman? No. He kill you.
I physically can't punt Rotmir. I take a little drink and then a dwarf goes.
And then he
mile.
kill you.
So while that is happening, Kyle,
Aye.
or Arnos, I should say, with your roll, it takes you the better part of a few hours. But you do happen to find a very knowledgeable person on the side of the road who happens to be standing near a bit of thieves' cant. As he sees you walk up and see the sign and read it, he looks you dead in the eyes. This is a human, by the way. Looks you dead in the eyes. What are you looking for?
Information, if I can get
What
it.
are you buying?
What are you
What are you
selling?
selling?
Now
Sorry.
I've got the Merchant Menace
No.
in my head.
Fuck,
What are you looking for?
flashbacks of Resident Evil 4.
Information.
That's all. Information's expensive. Things are. He kind of looks around,
I've been noticing.
getting a little chaotic out here.
Did your voice just get deeper? It did.
It's the Merchant. Well, hopefully I can help alleviate some of that.
Well, we're not much on strangers passing through trying to solve problems, but you seem to know your way around. You looking for something in particular? Besides information, if you want that, then.
Also, I need to replace my tools.
Oh, well,
It's something incredibly mundane. Is
that we can do, though don't get caught with them or you're going to wind up in iron. These things are highly illegal in Cronagate. I always do that. Mix up Chroma Peak and Cronagate. Here in Cronagate, they're quite on the illegal side, but follow me. We'll get you a set.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow him, you can buy a thing of thieves' tools out of the player's handbook, but it is at double the price.
What is the standard price? I think it's 10 gold.
I think so too, but let me check.
It might even be 20.
Find an extra cassette.
I don't think that makes much of a difference. The Masterwork only gave a +1 anyways. And that was 100.
Uh, 50 gold pieces for that. 25, so 50 gold pieces.
Yeah.
But you can get yourself for that. And while that is happening, Rodmir, you head back to the estate. This time the guards just nod at you as you walk in. They do not say a word to you. The door is opened. You're allowed in, and Bitwin is once again there. He leads you back to the foyer. Without saying a word, he motions to a seat. And once you take your rest, he walks off.
Okay.
You're sitting there for about 2 hours.
It's fine.
When Bitwin returns, roll me an insight check.
Mm, 23.
When he speaks to you, you can tell he's a little flustered.
Okay.
and he seems nervous,
Okay.
very nervous. So he approaches you. Your brother will see you now. If you can follow me, please.
Does he mean me harm?
Why would your brother mean you harm?
Because he's Hathis.
Ah,
And you know
I-
what I ask.
I
Probably more than anyone in
I-
this estate.
will not speak ill of the master of the house, sir.
I'm not
you
asking you to speak ill of him. I'm asking if he bears me ill will.
You would have to take that up with him, sir. He doesn't speak to me. I'm merely a servant. You can sense he's very nervous.
I do not envy your plight.
He gives you a very weak smile and motions for you to follow him.
Okay, I've got my shield, my hammer, my winged boots, and the breastplate.
He looks at the weapons, the weapon and the shield, and he goes to say something and thinks better of it.
And I pick up on that. I'm like, don't worry. My brother will deal with that as he sees fit.
He walks down. You remember the layout of the house very well. Well, the estate very well, because this place is huge. You know, there's a very large section of the estate that is used strictly for business and for meetings, things like that. Then there is a living area. It's kind of like the White House in a way, except that they don't have tours. You know, but you are led into where business is done, from what you remember. When you enter, the decor is much different. While your father was much more family oriented, and there was lots of busts of family members and paintings of your your ancestors and
yeah.
things like that. All of that has been removed. There's no plant life. Everything seems very clean, very modern, if you can consider that modern. But there's there's no clutter. There's no decoration or ornamentation anywhere besides what has been inlaid into the walls itself, which is simple, geometric shapes, things like that. As you are led down this corridor, you know where you currently are is the most secure area. The walls are stone. Inlaid in the stone is iron rods.
Do I see guards along the way?
Yes, you do. You see several guards along the way. And the room that he leads you to is a set of double doors. At each side is a pair of dwarves in full armor.
Only two?
No, a pair on each side of the door.
4. Okay, well, I will take the time to...
While you're moving, though, go and roll me a perception check, please.
17.
17. You notice that as you're moving through, some of the guards that are just staggered along the way, you see one of them before you turn a corner. As you turn out of the corner of your eye, you see him turn and begin to follow.
I will turn around and I will greet him.
He stops when you see him. And
Am I such a threat?
he doesn't respond. He just looks at you. Oh, Bitwin. It's this way, sir, please.
And I address the guard again. I'm like, I do not envy the choice that you will have to make. And then he turns around and follows.
Okay. He less stealthily now follows behind. You will see that another one begins to take up behind. So by the time you reach the door, at the end of the hall is 2 more dwarves in full armor with weapons on their belts, and then the 4 on either side of the door. The 2 on either side of the door. 6 dwarves in total, besides Bitwin.
Okay.
As you approach, without a word, the guards push the door open and allow you to enter.
Okay.
Bitwin stops at the door and motions inside. Roll me a perception check.
16.
You very, very faintly hear Bitwin whisper, "Good luck."
Okay. I intend to speak first.
Okay. As you walk in, let me describe the scene real quick. As you step foot into this room, looking inside, this room used to be your father's study, and where he would take meetings, more casual meetings. That entire feeling is gone. This is purely business. There is a single stone desk that sits in the center of the room, near the back wall. On either side of them, there is a doorway leading out. You don't remember those doors being there before. This was supposed to be an enclosed room. Your father used to have a window behind him that looked onto, it was just a stone face, but carved in the stone face was the sunrise over the Moorholms. It was very beautiful. That entire wall has been covered up. Well, it looks like magic has been used to just create a solid barrier. Like somebody stone shaped it up. You know that there's a few dwarves that have this capability. Sitting behind the desk is Hasseth, about 50 feet away from you as you enter. As soon as you enter, the doors close thunderously. There are two guards behind Hasseth within the room. They're about 10 feet on either side of him, standing at attention. Each of them has a halberd and a steel shield that they hold. For a moment you think they're statues, but you can just see that gentle rocking motion of them moving. He has his hands in peaks as you approach, and he just taps them against his nose, as you know he used to do whenever he was in thought. As you approach, he said he wished to speak first.
Yeah. Hello, Hasseth. Do you intend to send me to Ironhold as well?
Well, I don't know, brother. Do you seek to break the laws our youngest brother has? Do you seek to besmirch our family name more than you already have?
You don't care about our family name. You've destroyed our family.
You care about raised our family up higher than we ever have before.
You care about your own power, and that's it.
Oh, brother, please. You don't have the head for politics.
No, I don't.
I simply
but
ask
I call
you
them
here,
like I see it.
I simply ask you here.
And word is that anyone that doesn't think like you or agrees with what you do end up in Ironhold.
Well, what I do is in the best interest of our family.
It's
our
in your
stock
best
has
interest.
never been
I
higher.
don't believe a word you're saying right now.
You cannot believe it all you wish. I'm not here for you to believe it. I'm not speaking to you for you to believe it.
Okay,
our
well then
family
issue
is
your
more
demands
powerful
and I
now.
will leave.
My demand is simple. Do you have upon your body the mark of our family?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you didn't decide to lie to me. And he raises his hand, and you see one of the guards, he just nods his head, goes up to the door, opens the door, and enters it. While he does that, you hear a scuffle and a cry.
Okay.
And pushed into the room, you see the severely beaten form of a familiar female dwarf.
Oh.
As she hits the ground, she raises up. You can see one of her eyes is swollen shut. There's blood trickling out of one of her nostrils. You can see she's been covered in bruises. Looks like her gown has been ripped, and she holds it, trying to contain some of the dignity that she has.
This is Kornberg?
As she lays eyes upon you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. The evil is upon them.
You
have done nothing wrong, ma'am.
He turns and looks at you after casting a disgusted glance at the female dwarf.
I'm glad you decided not to lie to me. So, because you possess this mark, I'm simply not going to throw you in Ironhome for lying all these years. From what I hear, the mark covers most of your body. Please, remove your plate.
No.
Must I have my guards enforce my will upon you?
Yes.
Brother,
If you want to fight, you found one.
brother, you know I'm not a fighter. I'm a leader. And if you believe you and your friends, despite all that you've done, or
My friends aren't
The
in this
Chronicle
room.
has
You're talking
said
to
you-
me.
and your friends are being
I am
closely
saying no
watched,
to you, not them.
and I'm telling you to think of what could happen to your friends. If you deny me, I simply ask
Hey,
for evidence with my own eyes.
he shows them a bit of it, but he's not going to show them all of it.
He looks at your neck. I'm disappointed in you, brother.
I'm very disappointed in you, brother.
Having that mark and trying to leave the family. Did you think that Kundarak could allow such value to walk around unguarded, unprotected? What if you were to die out there? What if one of our enemies were to get a hold of you? What if one of the other houses was to corrupt you, turn you against us? I mean, you don't have the mind to resist something like that.
Do you hear yourself?
I do hear myself. I hear every word I speak.
You're talking to your own brother.
I am speaking to my brother, my little brother,
Like
who decided
property.
to lie to me and father.
Father knew.
And of course he would. Does mother know?
No, because I know what you'll do to people who know. You get rid of people.
I will give
You
you
don't
a
work
day,
with people. You get rid of people.
a day to think about what you're going to do. Go back to your hole and think on it. I offer you a compromise. You come
You
back
don't
to the family.
Offer any compromise. It's your will or nothing.
No. If it was simply up to me, and I cared not for you, then I would simply send the wardens after you to throw you in iron home, like our dear youngest brother.
You have
Don't worry,
no
he is
love for
well
this family.
cared for. I
You
have
have-
nothing but love for this
No,
family.
you don't.
I
You care
raised
about
this
your
family's
reputation,
name.
and that's where your love ends.
I
with your
raised our
own
family up.
hide.
Brother, I'm not here to debate with you. I
I'm not
simply
here to
offer
debate
you a
with you either.
choice.
I will think.
Go out and gallivant around, or go out there in the world. Do your good. Protect people instead of your family. Go ahead. Be the selfish man that you are. I need familial allies that I can trust. Not like our youngest brother, not like that fool priest.
Not like mother. You've relegated her to servants' quarters.
She is very well taken care of. Every need she has. Of
She has
course I
no
would move into
freedom.
the master bedroom.
She has no happiness. I see it
None
in
of
her
us are
eyes.
free. She is saddened for the death of our father and the betrayal of our brother. Nothing more. If you
And
do
you
not
destroying
wish
our
to
house.
come and
Look what
stand
you've
by
done to
our
our
side
house.
here in the family, I will be forced to call upon our sister. So I give the choice to you.
Why would sister do anything? You have not,
She has a better head on her shoulders than you have.
but you have not held to the agreement.
That was father's agreement. And it was of
You
no
have no
use to us.
respect for father?
Father was a good man. He was a family man, but he wasn't a businessman. I am. In the last 2 years, I've done more for this family than Father did his entire lifetime.
And it's all negative.
Our family,
It is a downward spiral. Do you
our
see that?
family enjoys power as we've never had before.
But no
And it will
freedom.
only grow. We have no freedom.
No
Brother,
happiness.
do not be naive. You were born a Kundarak. You have no freedom. Neither do I. Neither does anyone else here. We have loyalty to the family, loyalty to that mark upon your skin. The houses survive by us. And if you don't wish to do it, then perhaps our sister will. But I leave the choice to yours. Go out there, gallivant around. save people, do your quest. But I need allies.
Why? You call these meetings of yours war councils.
Business is war.
Then
Father
you will
knew this.
always find a war. There will be no peace for the rest of your life.
There is no peace for us, brother. You know that. In your heart, you know that. I love you. I
No,
do.
you
I
don't.
know you don't believe me, but I love. It's
You
only
love
love that has
the
prevented me
reputation
from sending the
that you
wardens
have now.
to send House Deneath for you. But I did not. Instead, I told Mother to have you return. If this woman,
Told Mother.
I'm the head of this house. Of course, I tell Mother. I tell anyone
She
within this
raised
house.
you.
That she did. And she did a damn fine job, I believe. But again, you have a day. Think about it. You leave, I know your answer. While you're here, I expect you to behave like a Kundarak. And I expect your friends to behave like that as well.
Even if I stay, I'm going to disagree with you publicly.
We'll have conversations about that. You'll come around to see that what I want for the family is what's best. And nothing more.
I don't know what's happened to you.
You've done great things, brother. You have. Despite spitting in our family's eye, you have done great things. You are a warrior of renown. To have you by my side? Well, other dwarves that don't see things our way? Well, they'd come around rather quick, wouldn't they?
What if I agree with them who don't see things your way?
Then hopefully Tristan will have a better head upon her shoulders.
So you just throw away family members, like Fickrick.
Fickrick,
He was fifth in line. He wasn't party to any inheritance.
and he was besmirching the family name with his
No, he was
illegal
besmirching
activity.
your reputation.
Our reputation.
No, your reputation. Whatever power plays you are planning, it's for yourself. It's not for Mother. It's not for our brothers.
Everything I
It's
do
not for
raises-
me.
Brother, I don't seek to
It
argue
raises
with you.
your power level because you're the head
Which
of this household.
Raises all of our power.
Mother doesn't have any sort of power.
Mother can
I
still go out in the city and
only
everyone
have
will
my
do
freedom.
anything she asks. Anything. Now she can head to Chroma Peak. And families that looked down upon us before, now look at her with respect.
She's
Same as anything with
always
you.
imprisoned by you.
She's free to go if she wishes.
No, she's not.
I,
The moment she tastes freedom and disagrees with you, you'll put her in Ironholm just like Fickrick.
Brother, I'm asking for your loyalty and your trust that I know what's best for this family. Now, you can disagree with me, that's fine. Speak to me with your disagreements.
That's what
Do
I'm
not
doing.
Speak to others of your disagreements.
If you won't listen and you discount everything I say, which you will, you've always done,
I know what's
then
best.
my...
And you know I know what's best.
Okay, I think this conversation's over.
I do as well. But give
and
me
I
this.
turn around.
He
and I
stands up.
Walk away.
Will you not embrace me at least as a brother?
I love you, brother. And that's why I'm doing this. Goodbye.
Okay. You walk out. You can see as you turn, the veins in his neck bulge. And you see him grit his teeth hard. But the door opens. You are allowed to leave. The guards at the end of the hall, they look at the guards by the door. They nod. They step aside and allow you to pass. And Bitwin, very nervously, you can see he's sweating profusely at this point. He leads you back out into the foyer and nods at you as he opens the door and allows you to leave.
And I say, fellow guards, first to be honorable and strong, and then be loyal.
You
And I walk away.
roll me an insight check. Damn.
25.
You're an insightful dwarf.
Rolling hot.
The older dwarf, you see his face twitch, and you see the look in his eyes. Definitely, what you said had an effect upon him. But you turn around, you walk back into the city. It's about this point that I want each of you guys, not you, to roll me a perception check, please.
15.
22.
23.
20%.
The three of you, as you are moving around, you buy your thieves' tools. When you leave and head back into the city, you notice a dwarf standing in an alleyway, watch you pass, and then picks up behind you and follows you. When you guys enter Corunda Gate proper again, you see a group of two dwarves that are at different ends. As you guys walk in, they both begin to follow you at a distance. You are oblivious.
I think we're being followed.
I know they're being followed. Should we have a discussion with them?
Oh, they've got them fucking nervous.
Do you think that would end up in them dying?
No. Maybe. No.
Completely.
I'm getting stalked by Dad. I don't want to be stalked by fucking Lollipop Guild as well as Dad. So yeah, let's talk to
We'll
him.
make a break.
Now they represent what is legally distinct from the lollipop.
We are similar but legally distinct from the lollipop.
You split off, and then you bring it behind them and we trap them and have a talk.
I like the sounds of this.
I have a gentle talk. And then I might have a not gentle talk, but we see how it goes.
This is still in
Was
the
I able to get
entrance way.
information out of the Thieves Guild?
Well, no, this is when they enter Corunda Gate. At this point that they've entered, this is when you're having your conversation. Like when they come back, it's concurrent with you having the conversation with Hasseth.
So we're going.
The next alley that we passed by,
Very
Was I able to
break
get
it
any-
off.
Roll me a stealth check, please.
Was I able to get any information out of that?
We'll come back to that in just a minute. Ooh.
You sneaky bitch.
Hold on, gotta add that up. What's 17 plus 16?
33.
Fucking, they're just like, was there
I rolled a
person there?
natural
Fuck.
19, and they still didn't see you.
Perry,
As you
Perry who?
you time it perfectly. As you guys, I mean, there's a ton of people in Corunda Gate for some reason, and you still haven't figured out as to why. But there are tons of people here, and as a group of them pass by you guys, you just happen, and there's humans and other things mixed in with this group. As they pass by, you just duck into an alleyway, and you two continue on.
I'm gonna.
So he
be
did the
obvious.
Assassin's Creed thing where he just fucking like does this and just kind of like, and next thing you know,
Nod your head.
Find a blind alley and lead them down it.
Okay. Fairly easy to do.
Preferably a dark, unattended, seedy alley.
As
The kind of alley people cross the street to avoid.
Yeah, as you head down the alleyway, you roll me a perception check because you're trying not to.
Oh, I'm trying to be obvious.
14.
14. Okay. You can see the one is looking around and seems like it's looking for you. As you guys go down the alleyway, one of them stops and is watching you guys head down this blind alley, while the other guy is currently looks like he's looking for you as he lost you. And you see the other guy standing at the entrance of the alleyway. He doesn't seem like he's heading down. He knows it's a blind. He obviously knows this place pretty well. And as you guys head deep into the alley,
I'm going to stop just at earshot and press to digitate voices so it sounds like we're having a conspiratorial moment.
okay, like whispers coming through.
Yeah.
Okay,
Enough to make a
like
spy
stage
want
whispers.
to come
Yeah.
find something.
Yeah, like stage whispers.
Use
You see him. He's leaning into this and trying to pick up whatever he can to hear. But he doesn't seem like he's entering the alleyway. He's trying to look nonchalant, but he's like, and he doesn't fucking see you at all. You're in a different world.
No, he's crouched on a bench right next to him.
So what do you do?
Let the stone. They're waiting for me.
Well,
Yeah.
one is looking for. You can see him like walking through the crowd and looking around and trying to find. Yeah, the other guy he's looking. He's actively looking for you. The other guy is listening to them.
Wait until the other one kind of tends to wander a little bit away so that we got just the one
Okay.
and come up behind him.
Okay. That's easy enough with yours. He's paying so much attention to try to get. He's like, what the fuck are they saying? Like,
Thraka's gonna put his voice into his head like every once in a while. Like
you're far away.
Oh,
Yeah, you're more than 30 feet away. Yeah.
okay.
You approach. I mean, you get right next to this guy. With that roll.
I'm going to coordinate it to where right before he jumps him, I'm going to cast Hold Person on the guy.
Okay. So
No verbal or somatic.
Okay. So what do you do?
Grab him and drag him into the alley.
Roll me an athletics check with advantage, and I'm gonna roll an.
It's already a bad roll.
That's pretty good. Athletics.
Yes, sir.
You're grabbing him.
It's not, my athletics ain't that great, but 18's good.
18 is better than 6. You rolled a natural 2. You grab this guy and push him into the alley, and he goes to turn to accost whoever this person is that's pushing him in the alley, and sees that it's you, and you see his eyes go wide a bit. You see him get pushed into the alleyway, and what's the range on Hold Person? Is it 30 or 60 feet? Because you're about 45 feet
That's
away
probably
from him.
about 60, if not more. I can't imagine it's only 30 feet. You don't want to be anywhere near the person that you're paralyzing necessarily.
I'm sorry, not Hold Person, Hold Monster, and it's 90-foot range.
Okay. Yeah, you don't even have Hold Person. Never mind. Okay, so.
Monster's better than person.
Okay, so an 8, it's Wisdom, correct?
Yeah.
So an 8 plus 1 is 9. So you see him.
You got halfway to my DC.
You see him, his body just, as he's backpedaling, you see suddenly every muscle in his body just tenses. And he's on his back foot, you see him just fall and hit the ground, and he's just like this.
Ow.
I pull out my short sword and go up to him. Who are you watching us for? Shit, kick it!
So no, Thraka's gonna walk.
Okay.
Thraka's gonna walk over to him and pick him up by the top of his head and walk with him deeper into the alley. And he's gonna start talking to Sid. So I can hear you when you talk, but
Okay, you're not really strong enough to pick him up by the top of his head with your 19 strength.
Okay, the scruff of his collar.
Yeah, I mean you can pull him back, into the alley. You can drag him pretty easily.
So why are you following us? I'm talking to him in here. I can hear him whenever he. That's how me and him.
Okay, so you're gonna try to read his surface thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, that's a 19. So you try to peer into his mind, and you just hear him running through numerical equations. He's just doing multiplication tables. That's all he's doing in his head.
So, I assume
I
that
break
they
his
know
finger.
who we are. No.
And his fingers bent backwards.
That is very uncivilized.
Well, at least he knows we're serious.
So, I assume that you know who we are. And that I'm the nice one. And that I am the good one, but it's hard to control this one.
You can see tears streaming out of his eyes
I have
as
his other three fingers
all of
in his
his
fist.
muscles are tensed up. He can't even blink. Natural 1. He's still held.
Well, it would be in your best interest to just cooperate, and then I can heal your finger. And give you the blessings of
I
Alandra.
have the other
If
three
not-
fingers in my fist.
We have to take you to the sword.
So
the
you're
head
holding.
bag.
So you're holding a sword to his throat. You've broken his finger.
I've got the other three in my hand.
what are you gonna do?
Ready to twist.
So are you going to cooperate, or do I have to put the head bag on you and take you to the sewer?
And he's trying hard just to get that out.
So if you scream, I'm sorry, but I have to disintegrate you, and then you don't have a family funeral and everything. So please don't scream. It's
You will,
It's
however,
very
have ashes
sad.
ready to spread.
Roll me an intimidation check.
No, let me do it. That's a charisma.
No, no, roll an intimidation check. He's the one talking.
I'm
like
trying,
charisma.
I'll give you advantage because of
I'm trying to be
their
more convincing.
The sheer overwhelming circumstance.
intimidation with them. With their help, you have advantage.
20.
He goes quiet. He can't even move his eyeballs. He's just staring straight ahead.
I'll drop hold person. Or
It's
hold
a,
monster.
it's a good thing you did because with a 17 plus 1 is still only an 18.
It's kinda like-
I get plus 9
You-
to
you-
intimidation.
Let him go, and he You see him grab his finger that's just been bent backwards. And he just,
I show mercy. Here, I heal that for you. Cure light wounds.
as the bone resets.
See? I'm a kind person. I want to help you.
Look, I'm just doing my job, okay?
Yeah, and we are doing our job. But sadly, if our job conflicts with your jobs, then I have to disintegrate you. And we've already
Just
had that
look.
conversation.
I'm just told.
Why are you following us?
Because you guys are super powerful, and we people like you get watched when you enter cities.
And who asked you to follow us?
My boss did.
Who is your boss?
My boss is Galloway.
And who does your boss work for?
Well, he's the head of the Thieves Guild.
The head of the Thieves Guild. Are you lying to me?
Well, we did send you.
Nope.
As he
10. Oh, and who paid Galloway to have you watch us?
Why the hell would I know that, man? Look.
Because you're a member of the Thieves Guild and you keep your ears open, and nobody takes a job like following a powerful mage.
Look, as far as I know, okay, Hasseth came down hard on everyone, including the underworld, okay? Threw his own fucking brother in the goddamn Iron Home. He has Galloway by the balls as far as I know. We were told to watch you guys. We're just doing as we're told. I have kids. I have a wife. I don't want to die. I don't want to be disintegrated. I don't. You don't gotta put a bag over my head. Look, I'm just watching you. Just
one more
Oh,
question.
wait. So, you're a member of the Thieves Guild, yeah? You know rumors and
I'm a
legends.
I'm a low level member of the Thieves Guild.
You know in Zavor, Liam Bourne?
No.
Maybe a few villages massacred. It's not important.
Look, I already know you guys are the Knights of Fate, and you guys can like kill me and everything. Like, if
It's
I
not a
read
question
I
of.
read the Chronicle.
It's not a question of whether or
I
not I kill
want
you.
the three of you to roll me a perception check.
Start kissing himself.
14.
20.
All three of you begin to smell a very acrid smell.
Fine, but you're going to get set on my boots.
Look, see, I'm obviously not a threat. Come on, just
Alright, one more question.
I don't know anything
So,
else.
here's your job now.
No, actually, this question you might know.
Go ahead.
Is there any other ways into Ironhold?
Iron Home.
Iron
Home.
No one goes in the Iron Home, and if you want to get in the Iron Home, walk up to a guard and punch him in the face. He'll wind up right in the Iron Home. But
That seems like a good idea.
I like his idea.
it's
I
actually
don't
not
know
bad.
of anyone else who goes like you don't want to go there.
So-
It's bad.
They've already pissed me out there. I
We-
kinda do, but
We have a job for you. And if you do your job, then we pay you with gold. But if you don't do your job, I'm sad to say is that people are going to get disintegrated.
It really sounds like you guys are gonna ask me to do something that I'm gonna get killed for.
No. It's very easy. You go to the bar, you drink for a little while, and then you go tell Galloway
Galloway.
that we were at the bar drinking and whoring. That's it.
Oh, okay.
And if you do this,
There was another guy that was told to watch you guys, and
do I need to get the head back?
um,
Do you
No.
think that he would do the same for money?
I don't want to ask him because if he tells on me, I'm gonna die.
So I need to disintegrate him. That's what you're saying.
No, they just need to knock him out and leave him here.
nah. I'm gonna
You can
fuck
see
him.
the guy is openly crying at this point, like tears into his beard, the whole thing.
Listen, you got your finger broke because you're stalking us, and
I'm just doing what I was told, man. I'm
Listen.
sorry.
me personally, you stalk me again. You ever stalk me again? Any of your friends ever stalk me again? I'm getting stalked by something. My dad, as I call him.
Oh.
Anyways, he's a being that conniverates this whole fucking place from the plane of existence, and I am very on edge right now because he won't stop fucking watching
Look,
me.
I'm
If you watch
super-
me ever again,
I'm
I will
super
fucking kill you.
confused
I will
right
kill
now.
your family. I will kill everybody.
Thraka.
I'm really
He's got
confused
issues.
right now, but
So here's what
if
you
I
need to know.
if I stop watching you, they're just gonna send somebody else.
Then I'll kill them too.
That's gonna be a lot of people.
So you just forget some of the things you see.
Okay, what am I forgetting? Because
Yes.
I haven't seen
Pretty
you
much
really do anything
everything
besides break
that
my
doesn't
finger.
involve me having a drink.
Okay, I won't tell everyone that you broke my finger and made me piss my pants.
I press the digitate.
Yeah.
See, the piss is gone. No, we won't. We'll laugh about it, but we won't tell anyone.
Oh, okay. Can I go now? I promise I don't know anything else.
I don't think he's
I just
never
wanna
gonna
live.
stay. He sounds traumatized.
If we let him live, I am a kind and unmerciful man, and be sure you tell people that, because I'm not going
Roll
to
me
let
the
the rocket
perception
crush
check,
your
please.
head.
And the rocket just like picks up like a fucking a rock from the alleyway. Just
16.
You catch a glimpse of the guy who's looking for you. You see him just like walk through the crowd. You just barely catch sight of him, and you see him. He's looking frantic.
I think we probably should have
Yeah.
move on.
It's time to go
Kill the
now,
other one.
pee
Kill
pants.
the other one.
You remember what we told you? We don't have to kill you.
I'll never forget anything you told me.
Now, here's a gold for your trouble.
Can I knock
And
him
he
out?
just shakily kind of takes it. Just thank you.
And you'd much rather deal with me than Trakaya, because you like your fingers.
and limbs.
He just
I
kind of
twitch.
nods, and then if you let him, he just slowly walks out of the alleyway, and he's still holding the gold piece like this, just kind of.
Put it away!
Huh?
Put it away!
And he just like drops it into his boot, and then just keeps going. And you see the three of you roll me perception check real quick.
Dark is a little bit on
Either
edge
you
right
guys
now.
can either roll individually or somebody can roll with advantage.
I'll roll with advantage, I
Yeah,
guess.
definitely.
Oh.
24.
You see as the guy walks out, you see him walking with kind of his head down, and he's looking around. The other guy immediately sees him, comes up to him, and begins talking to him. And you just see the guy shaking his head, and he casts like a glance back to the alley, and then just keeps walking. And the guy's just like, "Fuck," and just follows him, still looking around. What the?
So we'll conveniently take this opportunity to go back to
The lantern's home.
the Lantern's home.
So you, sir, when you notice this guy following you, what do you do?
Hey, I'm subtle.
Slink into an alleyway and hide.
Roll me a stealth check.
Here's my dice.
You wait till I tell you to break things, please.
That is a natural 19. That's a natural 19 on both of them. Fuck you.
Do you want to be able to?
You and Perry have practiced this move.
Where we just kind of jaunt ourselves into another world temporarily.
You disappear in an actual like archway. You just like meld into the shadow there. The cloak of the bat wrapped around you, making you just as dark as the shadows. As he goes there, he looks.
Fucking bad.
He walks right up to the door with you a few feet away. Knocks on the door, listens, doesn't get an answer, turns around and walks away. After a while, what do you do?
I'll tell him.
Okay. Roll me another stealth check. Let's see.
And we will see indeed. That is a 28, I'm gonna say.
Okay, well, you rolled a 17, so that's a 21. So
That's a period of poof feathers.
he seems very much like he is looking for you. After a while, you see him meet up with two others, and they begin having a heated discussion in an alleyway. And then they,
I'll get as close as I dare.
the two of them, then go and roll me a perception check.
Unfortunately, this one's not gonna be yours. Oh, wow, that was wrong. That's a 20.
You guys can roll below 20. I'm just saying.
Well, that's what I was expecting to roll below 20. My dice seem to have gotten over themselves. 22.
22. You can get close enough, and once again, wrapping the cloak of the bat around you, you stand next to the alleyway, and you can just hear their voices bouncing against the stone walls, and you hear a conversation. Two of them appear to be pissed at another one. You're not entirely sure as to why. Then the one who they're pissed at just kind of slinks away, just goes into the crowd and just goes away. As those other two kind of exasperatedly they begin talking like, Well, they're staying at the Lantern's home, right? Yeah. Well, we'll just fucking go there and wait. Yeah. We'll just go there. Okay. And they begin heading off towards the Lantern's home.
Am I within a mile of these guys, do you think? I'll go ahead and
Oh
try
yeah.
anyways.
You're within a mile. Yes.
Hey!
Yeah.
I had someone tailing me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
did
did
we.
too.
Thorkel was very impolite to him. I had to heal his finger.
Well, that explains that. There's only 2 now, and they're going to wait. They're going to be waiting for us at the end.
Was his pants still dry, or do I have to fix that?
I didn't look. What?
You can
It's a
probably
long story.
At this
We had a
point, am
conversation.
I out of the meeting?
Yeah. About it's when they get they head back to Lantern's home. You guys actually beat the dudes there, and you
I'll
can
be telling
circumvent.
them all the way.
So you tell them the whole way and you watch them. At any point, do you sneak into
I'll
Lantern's
find
home?
No,
Or no?
I don't need to.
Okay. So you basically just watch them. They're
I'm watching them.
they're trying to be very inconspicuous, and these guys are pretty good at their job.
Tell me where they are, yeah.
Your battlefield acumen is incredibly good, and you're very used to sneaking around and being inconspicuous.
I'm making myself
Even
look like a
being a
gargoyle.
Kenku, yeah, you just kind of get up on top of a building and watch them out of their line of sight. They're not used to things that can fly and
In
get
a
up
cave,
above
nonetheless, the
them.
one
Yeah,
benefit of being in this abomination.
exactly. And they are watching. They're very good at what they do, and they are simply seem to be watching for you guys to leave Lantern's home. And you very much get the sense that these guys were sent to watch your movements. It's about this time that
That's
you are
describing.
walking into Corunda Gate,
Okay, I open up the
the Sitting Stone.
Sunny Stone and I say,
Well, remember, when you guys talk in the Sitting Stone, everyone else hears what you're saying as long as they're in range.
Not the best.
and I'm like, all I say is, it's a whisper. Who's in range?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
You hear Ricky. Mm-hmm.
It is my opinion that we all are a threat to my brother.
That's fine, we destroy him then. He wants a threat, he will have one he cannot imagine.
It's my opinion that he's possessed, replaced, or a
I'd like you to go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
I vote for number 3.
No, the third one's still possible. What, the dice is
11.
Okay. You head to Lantern's home.
You should keep an eye out there. They've been following us.
I'm kind of meandering,
Okay.
no direction.
Just thinking.
But I'm whispering into the Sending Stone.
You have crowds of people within Corunda Gate.
Mm-hmm.
So even whispering, there is a chance that people can overhear what you're saying, and you do have to speak in order to speak into the Sending Stones.
Rosmir, we wait and talk about it later. I have some people to surprise. Well, maybe disintegrate, I'm not sure yet.
So, where?
We meet at Lantern's home in 30 minutes.
I can't see anybody, but I know I'm being followed.
So that's okay. I'm taking care of the problem. You brought them to the front door for us, and me and Arnos will take care of it.
I don't know. Do you know anything about the thieves?
So you head straight to Lantern's
No,
home,
I just
or you
got
wait
some
the
tools.
half hour, then head to Lantern's home?
And things have been getting hard for
Well,
us.
I'm gonna take some time,
Yeah.
They're following us.
You're not settled.
just a brief time on my way, because
It's going to take you about a half hour walk just to get there. Yeah.
I know what's gonna happen. So there's really no room for Hamish here, right?
Oh, with this crowd of people, no. I mean, you're starting to get the sense of. Go ahead and roll me a straight intelligence check.
16.
You never saw this level of commerce when your father was in charge of the family. Now, in Corunda Peak,
Corunda Gate?
in Corunda Gate, your family is they run Corunda Gate. Okay, they are the family, the warding. You are the representative of the warding section of the family within Corunda Gate. There's no banking family here. There's a banking enclave. That's it. Power-wise, when it comes to Corundegate, your family is the most powerful. Now, you guys know, you knew going into your father's death that you guys were maybe mid-level at the best of times when it came to power. Now seeing what your brother, whatever your brother's doing, nefarious or not, the economy within this place is booming. And you now begin to see there is more and more buildings that are being constructed.
Okay.
There's a larger influx of people. The inns are full of people. And there are people staying in these inns for long periods of time.
Okay.
It's around, that's what starts to go through your head, and you start to figure out whatever your brother's doing. If people are turning a blind eye, this is why. And it's about that time that you'll get to the Lantern's home, if that's where your destination is.
Well, I'm
Oh, I take some Metacam. God damn it. Share.
I'm going to use a sending stone to let them know how I'm going to approach, and I'm going to try to disguise it as me just casually whispering to myself,
Okay.
like I'm using, little whispers. Oh, okay, I haven't been here in a long time. I'm
Okay.
going this way. But I'll go through the market and buy a piece of fruit and, just...
Take his time getting back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are headed back. You're just taking your time. Gonna roll me a deception check, please.
That's charisma, right?
Yes.
16.
Okay. You spend a good amount of time walking around, buying fruit, whispering to yourself. And what do you tell them? You tell them, wait.
How basically I reveal my location and how I'm approaching the...
Okay, so you're just giving them play-by-play on what you're doing.
Mhm.
You arrive at Lantern's home.
Doc and I will give him an alley to head into.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow there.
And then I'll be invisible in the alley.
Okay.
I'm also going to be invisible.
Alright.
So you have one of my cards from the past.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
And I'll give you guys your cards back here. We'll just remove the cards that you guys have already used.
I'll be using
have one
hidden
card.
sight.
Now, at this point in time, it's nightfall. You think. I mean, by your internal clocks, you're starting to get tired. It's starting to feel like it's nightfall. About the time that you guys collect. Now, once you guys collect in the alleyway, do you guys head back into...
I'm letting him pass to see if there's a tail.
roll me a perception check.
I'm still watching the two.
Can I give him a
I
bad?
haven't done anything.
The two are simply watching the entrance of this place.
Only a 20.
Okay. Let me see.
Okay.
Plus
You don't
8.
you don't see a
Okay,
tail.
right.
You don't see a tail following him. When he gets to the alleyway, you. What do
I'm
you
just
guys?
letting him pass by.
Okay.
waiting
So
to
you
see
head
if
into
there's a
the. So you head into the Lantern's home. You wait a minute. You don't see anybody following him. I mean, but you're literally in an alleyway, just kind of watching around. You don't see anybody directly following him.
I'll fly up to a window and go in that way.
Okay. So when you do that, you head in. You're already in there. You're still watching the two guys outside. So everybody else but you is inside at that point. So at this point in time, it is 11:30. We're going to go ahead and call it right here and see where this political intrigue takes us on our next episode of Dice and Dudes.
Hey, I've got a cloak and a dagger. This is fucking
Thank you all very much for joining us in this more politically charged and character development episode. I love these personally, but we'll see what the party does. They have some decisions to make here and see what happens. I'm interested to see exactly where this is going to take us. Thank you all very, very much for joining us. Remember to love each other and keep rolling them dice. Good night, everybody.